Space and Rocket Review. Space and Rocket Review. YouTube chats. Tell your friends. Space and Rocket Review. A bit loud? Like that? The crackles. Oh. I may have broken it. It would be kind of on par for, you know, me. Everything breaks. Okay, it's just a filter, guys. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. That sounded like the Barracuda intro. No. This would be Barracuda. Ready? Hold on. We gotta go in here. We gotta go in here like this. We gotta go in here like this. We gotta go in here like this. No. That's enough. We can jam later if you want. Okay, so I am running a little bit behind schedule because my computer decided to explode right when I hit the live button. I retitled the stream, and right when I hit the done button to retitle the stream, the computer said, no. Anyway, what's going on? How's everybody doing? No video on YouTube, so he's playing a Squire Hello Kitty. It's a Squire. I mean, you're not wrong. You're half right. It's a Squire Strat, cherry wood Squire Strat with Seymour Duncan humbucker pickups, so you can make it sound like a Gibson. If I could play it, it would sound like a Gibson. If I could play. Anyway, that's what's going on. Could you play da 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 da? You want me to play D A D A D A D A? Freebird? Nope. Fingers aren't working today. Maybe another day. Smoke on the water. KSP build music? No. That looks like your Squire Strat. What year was this made? This is an Indonesian guitar. I think it's from 2005 or 2006, somewhere around there. Why does YouTube have to translate video titles? I don't know. I'm watching a funny guy doing rocket stuff in games. Yeah. All right, so, how Had to rewind for the guitar. Stupid word calls. Can you play the song that goes boo boo do deep boop beep boop boop beep beep bop boop boop beep? Anyway, I don't know if OBS broke, but I'll try to get you guys a view of the garage so you can see the. Yeah. Oh! Hey! Progress! Look! Look, you can walk around! You can actually walk. You can walk. Anyway. So, it's still a little bit messy. I still have more stuff to sort through over there on the left side. Did you put a curtain to hide the mess, huh? Hyped about the FAXX being announced, ready for another Grumman carrier cat. I don't know what that means, but alright. Yeah, the body's mahogany with cherry red finish. They made an orange version. Nice, Metal. There you go. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see the mountain of trash in the pickup bed of the 59. That's all the trash. I still have more to sort through over there on the left. 50K? What, for the truck? The truck's not for sale. What's leaking now? Nothing. Nothing's leaking. That's from me finding all of my oil pans and draining all of them. I had probably 20 to 30 quarts of oil in like the catch pans. I emptied it into empty bottles that I found. Yeah, I'd say 25 quarts maybe of old engine oil. That's what I mean. It's not great. It's not good. That's embarrassing. But oh, needed, man. There you go. Yeah. Do I have a Windsor in that 59? Yes, I do. It's from a 79 F100. It's got a 302 a 302 and a C4 with a 9-inch rear end. 9-inch with 370 gears. It's an open diff. We should fix that though. Why do you have googly eyes in your garage? See, now I'm wondering what the hell that is because I don't. What is that? Grits, 51 months. Thank you. What is that? Oh. Well, okay. I was like, what are those? As the whiteboards say on the internet, what are those? What are those? I was like, wait a minute, what are those? What are those? Those are stainless steel headers that I scored for Bluefus. Yeah. Yeah, that's for the blue truck. Those are for the blue truck. Seeing a burnout with those tires would be amazing. Yeah. Awesome shirt. Back off, man. I'm a scientist. Lillian had a 4-month resub in there. The eyes are still there, buddy. Well, that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Remember, yeah, no, we're not doing that. So, yeah, I've made some pretty dang good progress. It's not just cleaning up this area. It's cleaning up all the shelves. You can see the back there on the right-hand side of the truck, those are supposed to be workbenches. I'm working on it. You give me 2 or 3 more days of this, we'll have a clean room in there. There's just so much crap. Like, oh, dude, I found so much just empty boxes. Like, just empty boxes. There's like I don't know, like, once again, I don't know if you guys can see it. There's tons of bags in the trash. You can only kind of see one, but there's a lot. Oh, here it comes. Oh, it's going to be a rot. Hey, Rev, what's going on? You should stream it. We'd love to see you work. I just want to get this done, catching, so we can actually do work in the garage. Anyway, what's under the rug? Concrete, cuttlefish, and asparagus. Heard of renting a dumpster or something, throw everything out, easiest way to clean up. I have to rent a dumpster, but it's for other reasons. I'll tell you guys why in good time. Because, yeah, the reason is not great. There are other reasons other than cleaning the garage why I need some time off this week. But, yeah. How far are you in on your project in the factory game? I haven't been here in a while. MXR, I stopped working on it pretty much around Christmas. I don't know. Maybe like 20 to 30% done. None of the interior is done, but the frame is pretty much done. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, we're making progress. When I'm done, all those benches over there are going to be cleared. What I want over there is like a wiring area for messing with wiring stuff, and then that bench I want all my machining equipment on. So like you know, the bench grinder, the drill press, the vise, stuff like that. Your dumpster needing project is not great, Martin, but I'll tell you what it is some other time. If you put in the truck in the dumpster, I'm taking no. The truck is not going in the dumpster. Where are you putting the CNC? Huh. Yeah. Anyway, the garage is getting there, Rarest. Yeah. Once again, 1 or 2 more days of this, and I should be good. I think 1 or 2 more days out there, and then a good day in the office here, cleaning everything up, and then I think I'm good to go. What's your daily driver? The Mustang? The daily driver's whatever the hell I want it to be. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 operable daily drivers. The Mustang, the Fusion, the 97, 59. The 87 we could daily drive that, but it likes to quit after it gets warmed up for some reason. Gotta fix that. So, yeah. Whatever I want. And then yard work starts full swing next week. Oh, I got the lawnmower running. The carburetor's shot in the snowblower. It needs a new one, so... Or it needs to be cleaned. I'm guessing cleaned, but it looks like it's never been cleaned. So I did actually diagnose and take apart the snowblower and put it back together. I did that today. Dude, I got a lot of work done today. I'm actually super tired. Winter drive... I don't know. So you're putting an F1 engine on that thing? Oh, no, Dave, probably not. The 302 will do just fine. Got to drive them equally. That's basically what I do. I switch around between the Mustang, the 97, the 59, and the Fusion, just to make sure all the batteries are charged. Yeah, once again, the 59 runs and drives. I fixed the shifting problem with it the other day. It was just had a slight vacuum leak from a cracked hose, so I just cut it and fit it on even more, and now it shifts just fine. So the 59 is operable. The 97 is operable, but the idler bearing is going, so that when you start it, it sounds like crunchy bearing. So I got to fix that. Maybe we'll do that on stream when my shop is clean. The 87 has some weird problem with it. If you start it, it runs fine until it gets to temperature. When it gets to temperature, if you put load on it, it stalls. I'm not 100% sure what the heck's going on. My gut instinct is to get all of the vacuum nonsense off of that thing and just put it just carburetor with a vacuum advance, and then just call it a day. And the headers. Yeah, Journey, it seems like a vacuum leak, dude. I don't know. I didn't have a lot of time to troubleshoot it either, though. So I haven't had a shop to access so I could bring it in here to troubleshoot said problem. But yeah, the Mustang drives just fine. Mustang is fine. It's 100% good to go. I could drive it to Brownsville right now. I'd be okay with doing that. It'd be fine. Probably change the oil first, but you get the idea. So the Mustang's good. The 97 needs the idler bearing. The 59 runs and drives in the Fusion. The Fusion needs an oil change too, so I'll probably have to do that too. Just turn the radio up. If you can't hear it, it's not a problem. That's right. Highway 4 will destroy the Mustang. I said Brownsville, not Boca Chica. I am not driving driving the Mustang down Highway 4 would destroy that thing. Dude, yeah, no. Baron, is this messed up? I was like, I want a road trip to Boca Chica. I want to drive my trucks to Boca Chica. That'd be awesome. I do not want to do that. No, I don't want to do that at all. Is Highway 4 that bad? Yes. Highway 4 is like Michigan Road bad. Yeah. And then on top of that, your car just gets sprayed with salty air, which is great. Oh, Shaw. Yeah, the Coronet. I found a patch panel for the Coronet today. Yes, it was underneath a bunch of stuff, but I found it, which is great. Yeah. The 250? Yeah, the 250 would probably be okay, Tesla. The problem with the 250 is that it's not four-wheel drive. If the 250 was four-wheel drive, I wouldn't have a problem with that. That's probably going to be the big project after the Coronet is like buttoned up and good to go. That's probably going to be the big one. I would like to source a Dana 60 410 front axle for that thing and a ZF5 with a transfer case. Why would you do that, Baron? The real question is that one patch panel enough to fix up the Coronet? No. Coronet needs floors. It needs a trunk pan, a full trunk pan. It needs trunk pan extensions. It needs new quarters. It needs new outer rockers. It needs new inner rockers. Well, I don't know. Jury's still out on the inner rockers. I got to get it in here and look. We're like borderline reshelling that car. But I don't care. I want to do it to learn how to do it so I could patch stuff. And no one gives a crap about a 69 Coronet with 4 doors. No one cares. Nobody cares. That car's worth nothing. It's really not worth a lot. The roof is fine. The roof is totally okay. The trunk's fine. The hood is fine. The fenders are fine. The inner fenders are good. The unibody frame forward is fine. K-member's fine on the Coronet. We gotta look at the torque boxes. But yeah, it needs a new floor. It needs a new trunk. It needs trunk extensions. It might need a new rear left frame rail. Once again, I don't care. That's fine. I know that's a lot of work. I get it. I'll do it. I'll do the work. That's why I'm cleaning the shop. I want to do a big metal project. I think that would be fun. And it would be fun to learn. I got the welder. Let's put it to work. Right? The gas tank is actually new. AA pillars are fine. How is it mechanically? It runs. Jim, mechanically it runs. It runs. It's right outside the door. Yeah, it runs. It needs to work off of an auxiliary fuel tank, though, because the fuel tank in the back is brand new. But the fuel line going from the fuel tank to the fuel pump is broken. It's caca. So it's all right now. I have to bottle feed it to get it to move anywhere. But whatever. Did I read this right? NASA scraps promise to land first woman and person of color on the moon. No, Future Tech. They didn't scrap that promise. They just scrapped the nomenclature. It's just go back to the moon now. But Victor Glover and Christina Koch are still flying on Artemis 2. It has an ET, like the shuttle. Yep. Are you going to put racing fuel lines in it instead of rubber lines? I don't know. It depends, DeLorean. There's a lot of unknown unknowns that I have to make unknown unknowns. Actually, there's a lot of known unknowns that I have to figure out with the Coronet. Dude, that thing, we might have to reshell it. And if we have to reshell it, that's fine. I have a welder. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried. I want to learn and hone my welds, because what would be cooler than honing it on cosmetic panels for the Coronet, right? As long as the frame rail isn't good, as long as the frame rail is good, we should be fine. Like, patching quarters is no big deal. My welder is more than enough to do that, you know? So, it'd be a great way to learn. And if I screw it up, who cares? Who cares? It does not matter. It's junk anyway. Anyway, space news time. Let's go. I see it, Zizep, but I'm gonna add that to space news, but yeah. Anyway. Senate is out of session between April 12th and April 27th. So if Rook's confirmation is next month, it's going to be in the first 2 weeks. Only lest they recess a point, Jared, letting you know. Got it. Enough about cars. I'm good enough to understand the bit about rockets. Yep. Anyway, the ULA investigation video is pretty cool. Yeah, it is. So let's start there. Whoop, whoop. The investigation of the GEM-63 nozzle.
The Certification 2 flight was the second flight of the new Falcon launch system. It was our second flight in pursuit of certification with the U.S. Space Force to fly national security space launches.
The audio is awful.
About 25 seconds into flight, we observed a burn-through on one of the nozzles of the two solid rocket boosters.
Oof.
The booster continued to function. That condition did continue to degrade, and later in flight, we did observe that the exit cone was liberated.
Oh.
Of all the things on your SRM, the one thing you can afford to lose is a nozzle. What that does to you is it brings your thrust down a little bit, and it brings down the efficiency of the rocket motor. But it doesn't really endanger the rocket motor, or of course in our case, the booster that is attached to. So because we had two and we lost a nozzle on one, the thrust was a little asymmetric. The BE-4 liquid rocket engines compensated for that, and we flew all the way to our destination. And in fact, even though we're known for having the most accurate orbital insertions in the world, this insertion was actually our personal best.
An SRB is a solid rocket booster. It's a composite case filled with propellant, and it allows us to get additional thrust on the vehicle.
They each produce about a maximum of 465,000 pounds of thrust.
It's pretty
and
good.
Burn for about 90 seconds.
Those are pretty big SRBs,
and the
man.
rocket continues on its journey to orbit.
Yeah, their personal best, Wooly, and their Vulcan compensated. I watched it we watched it compensate in real time. Yeah, it added. So the avionics picked up that the SRB was not working correctly. It picked up on the deficient thrust, believe it or not, and it course corrected. Yeah, really trick piece of guidance system from ULA. It actually compensated for it. It compensated for it, and it got the payload to its final destination. It compensated for the asymmetric thrust. Pretty good, man. It's pretty, for ULA does avionics pretty well, dude. Yeah, those GEM-63s are gigantic. This right there, see that little seam? That's the part that failed.
The unique thing about SRBs, and one of the reasons we use them on our launch vehicles, is it allows us to tailor pick where we're going and be really precise in our orbital insertion.
That's Starbase
without
Live.
having to have a really large booster, have a lot of excess propellant. You can
somebody
really
hit the
get the
gas.
most bang for your buck with that booster stage by having solid rocket motors and solid rocket boosters. That's why we put them on our launch vehicle.
SRBs are a cheat code in rocket design. Vulcan is a modular rocket, so we can fly with 0, 2, 4, or 6 solids.
Yikes.
That's like having 4 different boosters for that rocket, and that greatly expands what we can do
Tessa.
and how flexible we are.
GEM stands for Graphite Epoxy Motor. This GEM 63XL motor is the largest monolithic motor in the world that has flown to date. In
Yep.
Bacchus, we do our propellant casting. In Clearfield, we have
that's sick.
Our cases where they're manufactured. And in Promontory, we produce our nozzles. All of those components come together in an assembly facility at our Bacchus location.
The GEM 63XL is about 72 feet in length from tip to tail. So this motor is massive. So it's very unique in its configuration,
Probably
but it does
yeah.
support the needs of the launch vehicle and United Launch Alliance with their Vulcan rocket.
GEM 63XL is based on a long line of motors, starting back on the Castor motors that flew in our early Atlas vehicles. This motor does have a much higher pressure and thrust than something we've flown before.
The
Air
fuel
start.
for this SRM is literally metal. We burn aluminum. And so this exhaust is super hot, 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's traveling at very, very high velocity, and it is a mixture of hot gas and grit, alumina particles from that combustion process. So very much like sandpaper grit.
Yeet.
And what you want to imagine is the most violent sand blaster you've ever seen.
Yep.
Super high velocity, super erosive, super, super hot. That exhaust can go right through steel.
The GEM 63XL motors use a titanium shell. So to protect that shell, we have carbon composite components in the throat. Because we had a burn through and we know that that titanium melted, obviously one of those carbon composite insulators wasn't working. So we know that we had some sort of failure in one of those insulators, and that's really where our investigation is focused, in why one of those would fail. We're looking at everything from design to
I don't think so, Rarest.
manufacturing to transportation. Is there any way that it could have been damaged? And how did that heat from inside the motor be able to travel to the shell and create that burn through that we saw in the video? So we're investigating debris, we're investigating flight data. We've recovered the 2 motors from the
mics are
ocean,
terrible, guys.
both motors that flew on CERT 2, and doing a large forensic investigation to understand what our initiating event was and how it propagated into the full nozzle failure that we saw on CERT 2.
No, guys, their audio is peaking. It's not me. It's the video.
Quite literally, this investigation started right on launch day.
We began to pull data, structural dynamics, dynamic environments, control dynamics, our SRB team. We had all kinds of people get together in a room, pull initial observations and findings and quick data gathering.
We've had the 5th SLS provide volunteering on the ground searches. NASA provided the helicopter for some of our air searches, as well as the Phoenix team on our ocean recovery.
One of the most unique things about this was quite literally the team just came together. You had Northrop on the phone. Everybody was ready to support, and we just hit the ground running.
Solving anomalies like this is very difficult. We have a great team, and we're very fortunate with ULA, Northrop Grumman, and all of our other government partners who have really come together to solve this extremely complex problem and put us on a path back to flight.
From literally the day of the launch, we have been pretty focused on a couple of different parts. You know, we could see on the camera that the nozzle had come off pretty early and that we could expect to find some parts of it near the pad. Within a couple of hours, we found the first piece of hardware, which was a section of a part from inside the nozzle.
The ground discoveries were really impactful to the investigation. The team was really resilient to get into the actual outskirts of the swamp and kind of crawl on our hands and knees to find some essential pieces of flight hardware that had fallen back to Slick 41. So when our team actually pulled up on one of the internal throat entry pieces,
I saw it, Phil.
it provided a huge
I don't think it was on fire. I think that was the flare stack
so
behind
excited
it.
to find it.
And so that allowed us to focus in on that part and the part that is sitting in the rocket motor nozzle just above it that would normally protect that surface.
We've taken all of these debris pieces that we have and we've put them together into what we believe is a reconstructed CAD model. In addition to that, we've spent the last few months looking in the ocean for the SRBs that were jettisoned off of the CERT-2 rocket. Based on the trajectory and performance team's calculations, we were able to get the sonar boats out to the ocean, pretty much exactly where they pinpointed them to be, and we found them resting on the ocean floor.
That's awesome.
So when we recovered the SRBs, we were actually able to get the 2 units used on the CERT-2 flight. Once we got it safely on the boat, we were able to take it back to shore and get it back to our engineers at the Cape, where we sectioned off pieces of interest and sent them back to Northrop so we could do further evaluation. It was really amazing to look at the difference between the anomalous unit versus the regular unit. The regular unit gives us a really good baseline of what exactly goes on in flight and if those exact features match what we see from the static test results. So with that, we're able to establish a baseline or control of what we see normally in engineering, and then the anomalous motor really gives us feedback on what exactly happened, what pieces were compromised, and what we can piece together to create this whole picture for the investigation.
Cool.
So one of the things that is important to understand in context is that it normally takes years to dial in the design of a new rocket. That was the experience for Atlas, for Delta, for other rockets that I've been involved with or designed, and basically every other rocket. Vulcan is completely unique in my experience to come through these first 2 tests this clean, requiring only some minor adjustments in the design, and in fact having 2 really perfect missions in terms of the payload.
Our next step in the investigation is to go to Promontory, Utah for the static fire test.
This test will provide an exact replication of the flight environment that our SRBs see, and it will be done in a horizontal configuration, constrained in our test bay, and then provide us the ultimate data and performance measures needed.
Besides a lot of smoke and fire and some really loud noise, we're going to see about 465,000 pounds of thrust coming out of the about 105,000 pounds propellant in the motor. And what we're planning on measuring is a lot of strain data, thermocouple data, accelerometer data, thrust pressure, a lot of the things that are performance parameters that can help us really understand how did the motor actually perform so that we can correlate that to our models to better help with the predictions supporting the return to flight efforts.
So one of the first pieces of data we'll get is the pressure data, and we will be able to verify that that met the required chamber pressure. And then shortly after, you'll be able to do visual inspections of the nozzle. And looking at the nozzle, we can preliminarily see if everything looks as expected.
The other thing we can do is actually dissect the nozzle. It'll be cut in half. We'll be able to measure char depths. We'll be able to see erosion. We'll make sure that everything is as expected, that all those carbon insulators performed as expected, that the steel shell held up as predicted, and all of that is right in front of us, being able to inspect on the ground and make sure that it is fully ready to go.
5, 4, 3.
Watch the snow melt. Sweet. What snow? That's cool, man. Frickin' send it. I need this for my driveway. Me too. Yeah, put the extinguisher in there. Where's this facility? Drummer, you know where the Golden Spike was laid in for the Transcontinental Railroad? Promontory Point. That's where the test stands are. Fun fact. Interesting. Would it be better try and recreate the failure or try and fix the failure before firing? It really depends, Archie. That's, you know, it really, really very much depends. Guys, okay, so they did a requalification. So when you're doing what's called a fault tree analysis, right, you know, you take everything into account, right? It's just like what the dude said at the beginning. They got to take into account every facet. So basically from the SRB being manufactured all the way to the nozzle coming off, trace the route of the SRB. Where are all possible things that could cause that type of failure? Now, my gut, and this is without any information, I'll admit, and this is not what you should do if you're a rocket scientist, but my gut is telling me that something happened during transport. Now, the reason for this is that the SRBs get transported one by one. They don't get transported as a pair. They get cast in a pair. Now, why do you have two SRB? They cast two SRBs at once. Why do you do that? You do that so you use the same mixture, the same batch of solid rocket propellant is used to fill both SRBs, and that's how they make sure that the thrust on the SRBs is pretty much the same, right? They use the same batch of grain, so to speak. So the SRBs are manufactured at the same time. So if they're manufactured at the same time, they're most likely going to be built the exact same. I mean, you gotta be absolutely sure. You got to go back and trace, do what's called a fault tree, like I was saying. But the SRBs are transported one by one. They're transported one at a time on a trailer for weight purposes. Something tells me that's probably where you ran into some problems. That wouldn't be the first time that's happened. To be honest, that happened on a Delta II. The Delta II, we've had an anomaly. We have to secure the area. Yeah, somebody dropped it and cracked the casing. Yeah, bad for it. It was confirmed to be a manufacturing defect. By who? I don't ever remember that from that video, but all right. How do they turn off the booster? I thought once you light an SRB, you can't stop it. They let it flame out. The composites also aren't wound in pairs. That's right. Funny thing today, I was reading an investigation about the Mormon Church lobbying for Thiokol during the Challenger investigation. Thiokol really didn't do anything wrong, man. A few weeks ago from a Space.com article. Is that the same Space.com that said that rockets are polluting and we went down that whole rabbit hole last week? Yeah, about that. No, Blue, they don't fill it with 30 seconds worth of fuel. It's a full duration burn. That's a real booster on the test stand. Hey, Rezel. What's up, dude? 99 month resub. 1, 2, skip a few, 99. Thanks. And French Invader had a 32-monther as well. Grits and Gravy to 51 before that. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. No, that's a full booster. That's a real booster. They're using it to validate. Actually, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm really thinking about it, it might not be transport. Transport is what caused the problem before, right? But if they're willing to qualify another booster, right? You'd want to ideally put it through the same exact transport that you did going to and from the Cape, right? If that was the problem. But who knows? So they just cut the footage short. Yeah, this did a full 90-second burn. You guys, these things only burned for 90 seconds. A minute and a half at best. It's not a long burn. She's dialed, as some would say. Like, once again, it really depends on what happened in the fault tree. It could have just been that the truck that was transporting it went over a pothole and cracked something. You don't need that big of a crack. The nozzle burn through happened seemingly for the same reasons that Orion's heat shield charred away. Because once you get a little crack, that the gases are going to go in there. And if they start getting behind getting behind your liner, it's just going to burn right through, right? He said they burned through titanium. Titanium. They burned through titanium. That's, yeah. It could be a manufacturing defect, but that's a heck of a manufacturing defect. How was that not caught? I don't know, man. Just, the other one worked just fine. The 2 SRBs that were on the first Vulcan mission worked just fine. This one didn't. Manufacturing defect? I don't know, man. I don't know. My gut's telling me some other shenaniganry happened, but I could be wrong. Who knows? So you're saying this is a sandblaster plus plasma torch. Most rockets are, dude. Most rockets are extremely abrasive. I've had the pleasure of being inside of a flame trench and seeing firsthand what rocket engines do to concrete. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. ULA said that it was a manufacturing fault. It was in a press release following this test fire last month. Okay, cool. I'm not sure what this absolutely validates here. If it was in fact a manufacturing defect, this doesn't prove it. If the test was successful, right? That nozzle burned all the way. Hello. That nozzle, that burned all the way to flame out. I don't know, Sea Kraken. See, at flame out of the test right there, right? Nozzle's still intact. However, I did notice something on this test cell booster. They have a lot of extra insulation around the nozzle, specifically around the throat, right where they had a manufacturing problem. Is it a manufacturing problem, or was the analysis not good enough? But here's the thing. A, we'll probably never know. B, Crane, Grove Crane, pretty cool. C, this stuff does happen. I mean, Tori Bruno was right. Like, he knows, this dude knows way more about rockets than I do, that guy. You get teething problems like this just because it didn't happen on the first flight and it happened on the second flight doesn't mean it's not going to happen again, right? So it seems like they've made some mitigations there too. I'd be curious to see on the next Vulcan flight if these boosters have this crazy insulation on the bottom there. Is it a manufacturing defect? Because that doesn't look like the boosters that flew on Vulcan. Look, like I said, they put a bunch of tape around, specifically around the area that failed. You know? They said they recovered the booster in the nozzle. Dude, they actually showed them recovering it, which is actually pretty damn cool. That's pretty sick. I mean, it looks like the thing sheared in half at impact, but yeah, Gametrion. Yeah, aluminum tape at that. Yeah, dude. Clearly they changed something, right? Look at all the extra insulative stuff that they have around the area that failed. You know? Are these new boosters for Vulcan specifically? Yes, they are for Vulcan specifically. What's this, Baron? So, is it a manufacturer? I'm not trying to you know, like, get up Tori Bruno's freaking nozzle here. Like, I'm not trying to get up him and ULA's tail. Like, manufacturing defect's a manufacturing defect. ULA's usually pretty dang straightforward about this stuff. See what I'm talking about? They clearly changed something to mitigate something there. Either that or they just didn't paint it, which I don't know why you would do that. I guess that the tape is probably covering sensors for the test. Yeah, funny you, that could be a thing. Let's see if there's any wires or instrumentation. They did show a bunch of different angles of it. Let's take a look. Could you turn one of those gem boosters into a small sat first stage? Yes. When can we expect the next Falcon launch? After the Project Kuiper launch. Yeah. Yeah, Sea Kraken Scout. So the Scout rocket from back in the day, John, is exactly what you're talking about. Only they didn't use attachable SRBs. They used a bunch of missile stages and stacked a bunch of missile stages on top of each other, and made one of the best launch vehicles that NASA's ever used. True story. Scout is like notoriously underrated for what it did. All right, let's see if we can. Oh yeah, funny you look. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Good call, dude. Good eye. Yep. That could be for the extinguisher. I'm really looking to see if there's any wires that are going directly to the booster. I don't see many wires going to it. Man, that is a big single case booster, dude. That's a huge single case booster. Look at the doorway. Look at the freaking doorway, dude. Unreal. Wires at the top. Where? Hey, Blackness, what's going on? Are any wires in the other video? Nope. Nope. I thought that the wiring might be for the extinguisher. That's what this thing is. It's an SRB inerter. Basically, so SRBs really never stop burning. The thing is, they eventually will reach a point where the combustion chamber pressure can no longer be sustained, and that's what a flameout is. And they'll basically just shoot fire out the back. It turns into a nice flamethrower. That's what this thing is. This thing's to put it out. But look, see the wiring? The wiring is that big, like, dryer hose looking thing. There's definitely additional wiring back there. Oh yeah, definitely additional wiring. It's the same test stand too. Look at the stand. They also insulated the stand. Let me see, Yuri. Yeah, the stand looks... Oh, yeah. They changed something. It's like the Matrix, dude. Is their nozzle optimized for sea level or for higher up? Well... Needs drives the design, Sea Kraken. Hey, MacB, 50-month resub. Thank you. Requirements drive your design. So let's think about it for a second. As far as I know, the wrapping around the nozzle is for thermals and to cover the strain gauge sensors around the throat. Yeah, I think you and Funny You are correct. This rocket probably has better instrumentation on it to make sure. That's probably why it's different, guys. So... I mean, if that's the case, right, and that's not like a design change, we'll see. The next GEM 63s that fly on Vulcan, if they got that silver stripe around the bottom, we'll know that they changed something. If not, and they look like every other GEM 63, yeah, ULA doesn't seem to be full of nonsense. That seems to be, yeah, that would corroborate manufacturing defect. Somebody didn't tighten a bolt down, or a part was QC. The part was quality controlled, and it shouldn't have been. If people are wondering like what we're looking at here, just on a quick side note, this is an SRB test cell. That's what it's called. It's called a testing cell. Why is it a test cell and not a test stand? Well, with SRBs, I mean, regular test stands do this. He said doo-doo. But with an SRB, you have a load cell attached to the front. That's why I would call this a test cell. This right there is basically a big strain, not a strain gauge. It's a load cell. It's there to measure the thrust. Basically, the SRB pushes on this, and it measures how much it pushes on it to get the thrust. That's how they thrust rate boosters. I mean, and liquid fuel engines for what it's worth, but the load cell on a liquid fuel engine looks a little different. I was working on a 400 kilonewton SRB. We placed thermocouples and strain gauges exactly like that. I believe you, dude. I mean, some of you guys, dude, it's kind of the point where some of you guys know more about this than I do. Like, I don't. That's cool with me. You know what I would ask? Teach me. That's what I'd ask. Let's freaking reciprocate, please. But yeah, this is an SRB test stand. Yeah, they fire it, and they're testing a bunch of things here to make sure they fix the manufacturing defect. As per NSF, the fault was reported as this. After the Cert 2, Tori Bruno said that the failure originated in the insulators bonded to the inside of the shell that later became the nozzle. Yep, okay. Are these nozzles on a gimbal? No, they are fixed. There was another good question there. Oh, Sea Kraken. Yeah, okay. So, what would you optimize your nozzle for? These boosters are there to give you a little more TWR off the pad if you're moving a heavier payload. You need more performance out of the first stage. So, these boosters have about a 90-second burn time. I don't know what the exact burn time is. We can go look it up. It doesn't say what the exact burn time is. Here, let's go right to Northrop Grumman. Maybe they have something on it. There's really not much there. The nozzles, Dave, are canted out, so they push through the center of mass. Yeah. I was linked a test sheet to that at one point, dude, where you could get the right burn time. It had it in there. Anyway, doesn't matter. You're probably burning for about 90 seconds, so about a minute and a half. Where are you gonna, what would you optimize your nozzle for? Well, if you're gonna get a flame out like at 30,000 feet, right? I would optimize it probably, I would really build it around, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 feet. That's where you, maybe a little bit higher than that. I would aim for in there. That might be a little bit spicy at ignition, at liftoff and ignition, right? But the rocket doesn't spend that much time down here, so, you know. For really fast burning amateur stuff like burn rates around 1 inch a second, the propellant will burn so fast that it will create a vacuum in the case after burnout and snuff out the ejection charge delay grain. It's pretty cool, but scary when the motor's ejection charge is your only form of recovery deployment. Yeah. 87.3 seconds according to the NG catalog. Man, Starbase Live is loud today. Second page. Let me see. Thank you. Thank you, chat. But the average center of mass does move downwards with the tanks getting emptier, doesn't it? A little bit orange. It actually is going to move up. Well, because the SRBs, so think about it. First stage, second stage payload, right? The solid rocket boosters, right, are firing. And they only fire for a small bit of time. Like, their burn time is 87 seconds compared to Vulcan's core stage, which is like 5 minutes or something. It's a long way. Because the LNG, it burns a lot. Your center of mass is actually going to move up because your first stage is draining, and your second stage and payload obviously aren't. So your center of mass actually moves up during first stage ignition. Damn, dude. That's crazy. That is crazy. 463 pounds of 249 pounds of thrust. That's no joke, man. That's a big booster. 429,000 in kilonewtons. Yeah, dude. Those things produce 2,000 kilonewtons of thrust each. That's no joke, man. That's pretty. It's closer to 1,900, but also, holy balls, that's no joke. That dude, and those things have freaking. Vulcan can have 6 of those things attached to it. So we got 2 B4s making 2,400 kilonewtons of thrust. And then you could have 6 GEM 63XLs attached to it at 1,900 a pop. Nice. 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 That's like kickbacks. Dude, yeah, it's no joke, Tessa. That's pretty that's some power. That's some power. But yeah, you know, I had to kind of talk it through with you guys, but yeah, I mean, obviously. So, Erudite, you said I called you on a source, so I thought it was like, we're good. So, yeah, you were correct in remembering that. That's right. And now that we talked through this, if you were testing a manufacturing defect, you would do a test firing just to make sure that it works, and then measure. He said they're going to cut the nozzle in half to measure the charring. Are these reusable? That's what they look like after they come back down. So, no. That's cool that they did fish them out, though. That's pretty rad. Oh, come on. Just give us a close-up, dang it. Yeah, see, there's the throat. So that thing failed at the throat. Like, I mean, that's what we saw, right? Pretty crazy. This is actually a super good video from ULA. That's really cool. Way to own it. I appreciate the heck out of people that do this stuff in the spaceflight industry, where you own stuff. Yeah, it failed. We got to figure that out, and we're gonna figure it out, and the next one isn't. I appreciate people with that mentality. That's you have to take accountability for what you do with this stuff. If you don't, you're gonna fail, and you'll fail catastrophically. So super cool. Fatiguing composite materials is also hard to predict, so reusing them might not be the best idea. Lava, I would not, absolutely, Burbs, I absolutely would never reuse a composite SRB. No way. No. No. Steel casing. That has proven to be a fruitful endeavor in the past. Not composite stuff, though. Yeah, I heard burps. I would not reuse one of those. Yeah, that's not a good idea at all. Can you guys believe that, so SLS, basically after Artemis 4, I think it's 4, is going to have carbon composite segmented SRBs. How much TWR do you want? All of it? Go full blast and listen to the power. This is from their test video. Oh, well, don't mind if I do. Any plans to cover this? Reaper, 55-month resub. Guys, the alerter isn't playing through my, Hang on one second. Hang on. Give me one sec. I'm not hearing the alerts. Because GrabShark had a 64-monther in there, and Reaper had a 55. Let me just...
Discovery, go at throttle up.
That was grits. Alright, seems to be working now. Alright, let's see. This is nice. Yeah. Snowblower? Yes. Yes. Precisely. This is a qualification booster to make sure it doesn't blow up after the last one that they put on a Falcon blew up. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, Bill. It's very weird. What a Chad Lee piece of equipment that is. Single case, 1900 kilonewtons of thrust. Bruh. That is a thing. That is a thing that exists. And there I was watching an EJ VOD and suddenly EJ's live. What's up, Chief? How are you? Can we power ULA's boat with the GEM-63? I don't think it's going to get you very far? Question? Dino, what did you want me to see? Hold on. Yeah. I don't see why we wouldn't. Sure, but it would be amazing. It would be an amazing 90 seconds. I mean... Yeah, yes it would. Anyway, that was an awesome video from Tori Bruno. I like Tori Bruno a lot, personally. I think he's a fantastic engineer. So that dude is the guy that runs the company that launches Atlas and Vulcan, formerly Delta 4 and Delta 2. Tori Bruno's awesome. You know why he's awesome? Because he's a CEO that runs a company that's actually an aerospace engineer. Look at his resume. You will feel real stupid. Like, dude, so Tori Bruno worked for Lockheed before he became the CEO of ULA in 2014. Dude, he's worked on some stuff. Some ones that I know off the top of my head. THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. That thing is ridiculous. So if you guys don't know what THAAD is, if there's OSINT people that watch the stream and you know what Iron Dome is, like missile interception, THAAD is that, but better. He worked on that project. Something that if you're a spaceflight fan, you might appreciate. Tori Bruno worked on X-33. Oh yeah, he worked on X-33 back in the day. He worked on all kinds of cool stuff. Like THAAD and X-33 alone, that's like, those are pretty cool. Nice, Elvis. Yeah. I believe THAAD is anti-ballistic missile. Yeah, it's high altitude. Yeah, somebody in YouTube already let me know. Thanks, Orange. So Iron Dome is close range. THAAD is high altitude. Yeah, I mean, THAAD's amazing. It launches from a HEMTT. A HEMTT with a little rocket launcher on it. It's pretty cool. The guy unlocked the entire tech tree in real life. Yep. You've met Mrs. Bruno, too. She was the lead engineer on multiple kill vehicles for Lockheed Martin. Bro, that's awesome. What's the bigger flop, your X-33 or the real one? The real one. I still have those pictures, dude. Just on a quick side note, I still have all my research pictures from Venture Star and X-33. Some pretty cool stuff that you really can't find. I mean, that one you can find. But cars. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Ah. Hey guys, let's build the launch pad for this and then never use it. Okay, cool. Sounds good. You can still do it? Yeah. Yeah, probably. Oh, look at it. Would you just look at it? Would you just look at it? Ford trucks and flame trenches. Hell yeah. Why is your truck there? I don't know. Would you look at this? It needs a Chevy symbol. No, it doesn't. That would make it worse. Remember making the bilobe tanks in KSP? I do. It's a very strange way. We picked a very weird way of mimicking that. Chief, it probably would have been better to just 3D model it. That probably would have been a better solution, but you know, hey, whatever, it's fine. Whatever. We made it in stock KSP. That's what we wanted to do. That's cool, Baron. Good stuff. Yeah, we could. Just saying. What's better, flame trench of a truck or a truck in a flame trench? Well, Yuri, technically wouldn't a flame trench on a truck be a Katyusha? I mean, you know, flame trench on a truck or truck in a flame trench. I mean, the Katyusha is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. I wouldn't point this thing this way. I'd point it straight up and be like, you know, like, like that's, yeah, it's pretty cool. That's comedy. All right, whatever. Here. How about this then? Here. There you go. Steel Rain. Once again, I just take it and point it up. Look at it, there it goes. All right. Point straight up. That makes some spicy rain, so they can control the weather. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Anyway, let's keep going. I would take all the explodey bits out of the missiles. I just have it come back down. If I was gonna do high-powered rocketry, guys, that's what I'd want to do. I'd want to buy another 97 F-250 and take a drilling rig, and turn it into a strongback. Why? Because frick you. That's cool. You don't want your truck deploying its own launch pad out the pickup bed? You don't want this? Why would you not want this? What's your certification? I don't have any certs right now, dude. No, that's... What is this? What is this? This is little boy stuff. What is that? I mean, the rocket's cool. Don't get me wrong, but what is this? That's a trailer. Just no. What are you doing? No. Here. Hold on. Dude. They make pickup trucks. They make drilling rigs it's used for geology, right? They make drilling rigs that you can mount in the back of a pickup truck. So check this out. The drilling rig, right? It goes out the back, plants itself, and it has spreader arms. Okay? I've seen one of them being used to drill core samples before. Right? Dude, get rid of the drill and just put the rail right there. So, dude, you drive up, it'll look like a siege tank deploying. You don't want this? I want that. That'd be sick. Identify target. Proceeding. Move it. Absolutely. Right? How much is it? I'm sure you could find a junk one for some good cash. Like, dude, look at this thing. You can mount it right in a pickup bed. You would need to buy a Gem 63. I don't think my truck can pull a Gem 63, Yuri. Gem 63s are heavy. Dude, the thing just be like a damn siege tank. That's what I'm talking about. How deep can that drill? It's just for core samples, Chief. Not very far. Use a Triton F-150. It'll be burnt up. Sure, whatever. Diesel Creek had one show up for his house. Showed it on a video. Super cool. The well driller. Yeah. Did you see the new D8 video, drummer? Damn, that thing is cool. Pretty sure it's easier and cheaper to weld that launcher trailer to a pickup truck. Yeah, but that's not cool. Now imagine you launch a rocket with the rail at 45 degrees. I'm not interested in doing that, funny you. We've been over this. I don't want the rockets that go that way. I want the rockets that go that way. The very important distinction here. Look up the vampire system. Fat Electrician is a short video on it. It's about as close you can get to that without any mods. Oh, jeez. Okay. Vampire system is just giving me the anime. Oh, what the hell is this? No, never mind. I found it. Once again, no, that's not pointed in the right direction, but also, what the actual hell is this? What is this? What the frick? What the frick? What the frick? Who thought of this? What are you, crazy? I mean, yeah, but what? No, I don't want this. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm talking about. No, 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 no. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. No, 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 no. That's lame. I want the modified drilling rig. This is freaking bumped. Being in a Toyota raises questions. It does raise some questions. I'm not like too big of a fan of that. I don't need, see the rockets that point that way, I want the rockets that go that way. Those are cool. I like those ones. And, you know, the ones that, you know, go up, and then if they do come down, they come down and land, not come down and explode. The ones that come down and explode are cool, but that's not what I'm about. I know what I'm about, son. Space and Rocket Review brought to you by Raytheon. Oh, God. I mean, if they wanted to. What about this? Loud warning. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. That's pointing down. That one's pointing down. I don't like that. I'm telling you, man. Look at this. Dude, if I'm gonna do high powered rocketry, I want a TE. I want a transporter erector for my damn rocket. And you could say, I don't care. No, I'm doing that. I want a transporter erector to put that rail up, and then you know what I mean? To be fair, orbital rockets with really high TWR don't even launch at 90 degrees. Okay, so let me be fair or unfair to your comment. I don't want a missile launcher. I want a high-powered rocket launcher. So, you know, you do that whole part minus the death thing, funny you. In case, I mean, I don't know if I could have laid it on like thicker. Like, I don't want to do the killing people part. That's the part I don't want to do. That's in spaceflight. You try not to do that. You know what I mean? Was that straightforward enough? Opinion on this. You did this in university. Let me see. Your strong back needs to be staked, so it's not a strong back at all. Cool rocket, though. You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Don't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, man. Steal a transporter erector launcher from an old Soviet satellite. Or make one out of a drilling rig. Dude, it'll deploy like a siege tank. It would be sick. Like... It does put your ride home at risk in terms of rocket fit. Well, send it. We could have it. You could have it deploy out the back of the truck. You guys ever seen the? Hold on. Somebody just locked their Ford. Did you hear that? That was a Ford. You guys ever seen those like tracked man lifts that have like the deployable legs and it ends up looking like the spider from Wild Wild West? That one's a trailer, but you see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't remind me of that movie? No, I'm not making my truck, Yuri, I'm not making my truck a mobile launcher. If it blows up and I don't want to lose my nice truck. No. We find another truck. Believe me, we have plenty of them over here. Don't worry, I understand the masculine urge to launch a high-powered rocket from a flatbed. Thank you, Hawks! Jeez! This is ridiculous! Opinion on your range safety.
This is Shake Hands with Danger Mix, track 4.
Shake hands with danger.
That's what I think about that. But shake hands with danger. Wasn't that Astra? Astra's entire transporter, erector, and launcher for Rocket 3.4 could fit inside of shipping containers. Yeah, that was what's cool. I thought Astra was sick. Except the rocket not working. It was really cool, except for that whole rocket not working part. But Rocket 4 should be pretty cool, and they are working on it. Believe it or not, Astra has not gone belly up yet. Shake hands with danger. It going sideways was pretty sick. And then it corrected, Dino. It corrected and started going up. I can't believe... How did that even happen? It's so cool. Okay, guys, if you haven't seen this, here, let me show you. Let me show you what we're talking about. Astra went to launch their rocket back in the day, and they had a little bit of a problem. Here, excuse my cue ball head. Watch this. Warning, this contains some spicy language.
Oh.
Should be
4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, 0.
First motion.
First motion.
Oh shit! Well. It didn't do the thing that it was supposed to do. But watch behind my head. Look. Go, baby, go! Yeah! It made it. It's nuts. Oh my goodness. Go! Get up there! I saw it. I was like, what? What? It's going. It's going up. Fly, you piece of junk. That was pretty funny, man. I can't believe that actually happened. Dude, I saw the nose go this way, and I went, uh-oh. That's not great.
First motion.
Oh shit! Well, I still can't. That's pretty cool, man. It didn't blow up. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. What happened to that rocket? They blew it up later. Didn't make it into space. That was a thing that happened. Shake hands with danger. Anyway. Okay. Let's keep going with space news. Just got in. Why did it tilt like that? That's what happens when one of your engines blows up right at ignition. Astra exited the space launch industry. Dude, they're working on Rocket 4. I'm not kidding. They're working on Rocket 4 and it's getting made. They just haven't been updating anybody. Yeah, Erudite, it moves a little bit. Good thing they left the gate open. Actually, Agent Smart, yes, because if the gate was closed, it would have tipped the damn thing. You heard of SpaceX? Well, there's Space Y. Yep. All right, let's keep going with space news. All right, so the next thing is coming from Sierra Space. Sierra Space and Yuri announced a new science taxi biospin mission to continue biological and medical research advancements and drug discovery in microgravity. As part of this mission, Sierra Space will oversee payload integration, logistics, and operations support for Yuri's science taxi throughout all mission phases. Together, we are making space more accessible for scientific... What the heck is this? Yuri, what'd you do? I don't know what this is. Yuri Science Taxi Biospin is a state-of-the-art life sciences incubator that can host up to 38 individual experiments per launch, enabling a wide range of high-precision biological and medical experiments in production in space. Oh, neat. Yuri is a leading commercial space biotech company that leverages unique conditions of microgravity to research and develop groundbreaking biotechnological innovations and providing the implementation services, Yuri's Lab as a Service. And providing the implementation services. Oh. With over 25 successful research missions to the ISS in partnership with NASA, ESA, GISC, Charité Berlin, and MIT, our interdisciplinary team of aerospace engineers and biologists is taking pharmaceutical and biotechnical research to a new level. All right, cool, sweet, neat. That's pretty cool. All right. Can I work on Yuri being Yuri as well? I mean, sure. You ask them. That might help. Anyway, so we got a little bit of update from ESAR on the Spectrum rocket. ESAR, subject to weather safety and range infrastructure, the second launch window for Spectrum's first test flight opens no earlier than the 27th of March. Follow us for updates. Oh, Brady took that photo. Wait, what? Brady's in Norway? Huh. Bro, that launch site, though. How did I not know about that? That's cool. That's cool that he got to go all the way out there. That's pretty neat. Thanks for interesting news like that. Yeah, no problem, Pine. All right. So, yeah, that's ESAR with their Spectrum rocket. If Spectrum does go on the 27th, which is Thursday, right? If it does go on the 27th, it'll be the first commercial orbital... Well, actually, it'll be the first orbital rocket ever launched from continental Europe. There were plenty of suborbital rockets launched in Europe. No full orbital. We don't like the suborbital ones that were launched. Those were not great. Those were not great. Those were not cool. ESAR is gonna get into orbit. Their launch site is in Doya. It's up in Norway, like the northern parts of Norway, well into the Arctic Circle. That's way up there. I actually have no idea, John. I wish I knew. I have no clue. Brady is up there, though, so Maybe they're scheming something. I have no idea. I wasn't told about this, dude. If there was something, it's well above my pay grade, man. I mean, it's true. I'm the outlier, man. I'm busy here streaming with you guys. Like, that's why I don't do NSF as much. I would love to, but I have to stream here with you. Do we have any news on what happened that last Starship flight, and what are we going to do to fix it? Kurok, I previously theorized that SpaceX does have a solution. It's just, it hasn't come down the assembly line, conveyor belt, so to speak. Let's ask Chris B. Yeah, right. All right, so this is Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory. All right. The amazing team of engineers and scientists from Johns Hopkins APL, NASA, and 40-plus partners across the country that created the revolutionary Parker Solar Probe has won the National Aeronautical Association 2024 Robert Collier Trophy. Oh, very cool. Yeah, Parker Solar is pretty cool. It's only one of the fastest man-made objects ever devised. I think it might be the fastest. I think at perihelion, Parker Solar Probe was doing like 480,000 miles an hour or something. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It actually broke the solar corona, which is also really cool. That's really fast. Then clearly you haven't seen me move after spicy curry. Oh. 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 No. 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 Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter took a picture of Blue Ghost, by the way. You see that little blip right there, right? Around the mouse cursor. A little thing right there. There's Blue Ghost. You can just barely see it. How many meters a second is that in Kerbal units? In Kerbal units, nice. I think it was 480. $772,485 kilometers an hour, or 214,579 meters a second. That's really fast. That's really quick. We need Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter 2.0 with a bigger zoom. Yes, we do. Is there a size reference for that square? No. That's the crater that it landed next to, though. You could just barely see it right there. It's just a little, it's a little speck. Right? Right around the mouse cursor, right there. It's pretty fast, right? Was this what you were looking for? What is this? That's AI. That's not Ford's grill. And the mirrors are facing the wrong way. The hell is this, Shogun? What's wrong with the rear tires? And it's got 7 fingers. Something like that, yes, that would be the idea. Enhance, please. Okay. Like I said, you can just barely see it right there. Hey, funny you, 32-month resub. Yeah, selfish, yeah. So that's cool. The Blue Ghost 1 mission is currently in monument mode. Firefly will try to reestablish contact when the lunar night ends, which is April 1st. That's lunar dawn, where they are. So, we'll see what happens there. Okay, we got a little bit of an update from Impulse Space here. It's lit. This igniter test moves us one step closer to powering Deneb, this 67 kilonewton main engine behind Helios. Our torch igniter uses an in-house built spark ignition system for precise and repeatable starts. That dependability matters. You can't light the engine without a reliable igniter, especially when multiple restarts are mission critical. Deneb's oxygen-rich stage combustion cycle is designed for high efficiency and repeatable performance. That's how Helios gets payloads to Geo in under a day, and how we enable flexible, high-energy missions to cislunar and beyond. Yep. That is a spark-initiated torch igniter. Cool. Impulse Space is working on building cryogenic cryogenic kick stages. Its founder is Tom Mueller, who's CEO and founder is Tom Mueller. Tom Mueller's the guy that invented the engines for Falcon 9 and Falcon 1, for what it's worth. Basically, he's looking at making reusable space tugs. That's what Impulse is really working on. And that's the igniter for that bad mamma jamma back there. Burb. Make a bigger kick stage and put it on Starship. Yuri, I have a theory that Tom Mueller left SpaceX and started Impulse specifically for building kick stages for Falcon 9 and Starship. I can't prove it, but I have a theory. Some of us just use pyrotechnics in a stick. I mean, alright. I'm pretty sure he did that, yeah, to make Falcon 9, like, crazier. And we do, guys, the crazy part about this, that the even nuttier part of this is that Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy are, if they launch from 39A, you can have a Methalox third stage. They built that capability into the transporter erector. That's how they launched the Intuitive Machines lander. They fueled it with methane inside of the fairing with Methalox. Yeah. So Falcon 9 just... That Helios stage just... It fits inside of a Falcon 9 fairing, and it just, you know, happens to use the thing that Falcon 9 has capability of fueling inside of a fairing. I'm just putting it out there. Why not just stay and pitch it to Gwen? Want to start his own company. You know, I'm just putting it out there that's, you know... That's probably, you know... Probably what's going on. Also, Tom Mueller is a huge car nutcase. And he races cars for fun. Okay. Yeah, Rares, it's just a theory. How would EJ set up on orbital construction? I'd space shuttle. Bruh. That is a Porsche with a rocket company's sponsor logo on it. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Super Outlaw. Thank you for the raid, 26 viewer raid. I appreciate it. Thank you. SpaceX is crazy about their Block 5 methodology. No way they'll change it before Starship. Yeah, but Falcon 9 could carry a kick stage inside of its fairing that's Methalox powered, and they could fuel it. That's how they did Intuitive Machines first, second, and they will do the third and fourth missions. Can I have that livery and not a Porsche? I mean, I don't know if you've seen Tom's fleet of vehicles, Hawks. There are some rides that you might appreciate. The guy, the guy really has impeccable taste. God. Yeah. All right. Okay. Sorry, what? Falcon 9 can fuel payloads in the fairings? Yes, it can. Falcon 9 is capable of fueling methalox to stuff inside of the fairing, dude. Oh, yeah. Dude, Intuitive Machines. The Nova Sea lander is methalox powered, and it launched on Falcon 9. They ain't gonna deliver that to the pad fueled. Oh, yeah. Now, why does nobody know this? Why does nobody know this? You guys don't know this? Yeah. How do you think they launched it? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the real deal, dude. I'm telling you, I think Tom's making upper stages for Falcon 9. Can you imagine transporter missions to Geo? Because that's basically what Impulse is trying to do. Just putting it out there. I must have paid a pretty penny for that. NASA paid for it, dude. It was Eclipse mission. Hi, random question. Have you viewed or discussed the spiral cloud fuel vape the SpaceX rocket caused over the UK today? I haven't, Chenky, but if you want to discuss it, it's just a Falcon 9 second stage. Yeah, as much as I want to say it's something cool, it's just a second stage, dude. I'm trying to get something that I can... You know, I usually would use a soda can or something for this, but I've been cleaning, and I threw out all the soda cans that I usually have around here. Well, anyway, what you're seeing, the spiral, what you're seeing is the stage rolling. It's doing this. So here, I'll use my super heavy model. This will work. The stage is doing this. Now, why is it doing that? Well, that stage that launched, that's the stage from the L-69 mission. The National Reconnaissance Office 69 mission. And if you go and look at that launch, here's a picture of it. If you go and take a look at the L-69 launch from yesterday, the second stage has a stripe on it. See that stripe right there? That stripe is a thermal protection coating to allow loiter capability for the second stage. Now, Chengi, what does that mean in plain English? The Falcon 9 stages don't have like solar panels or anything on it. It's all battery powered because the stages aren't really supposed to last that long. But this variant of a Falcon 9 second stage has more battery power, and it can stay on orbit for longer. So if you're going to stay on orbit for longer, you need to make sure your propellants don't, heat up or freeze or whatever. They actually have to stay like at a constant temperature. So what they do on orbit is they roll the thing to slow cook it like a rotisserie chicken. Like you'd cook a rotisserie chicken. It's the exact same idea to maintain uniform thermals for better temperature management. What you saw, that spiral that you saw, was the roll control thrusters firing while the stage was turning. And it made that cool spiral. Yeah, pretty sweet. The reason why you saw it, this happens all the time. The reason why you guys saw it and why everybody in Europe, I've seen people as far as Russia seeing it. The reason why everybody saw this thing is, one, because of the wonky inclination that thing went to. Okay, so Chanky, there's gonna, I don't know you, so I don't know how much you know about rockets. There's gonna be some big words here. Forgive me if you don't understand what it means. I'll explain it. Just give me a second. So Guys, per the orbital police, we figured out that the L-69 mission is in a 64-degree inclined orbit, which is weird. It dogleg left out of the Cape. That's strange. That's a really strange orbit. The NRO does not launch to that orbit all the time. But that high inclination, meaning that the tilt of that orbit is like if this is Earth's equator, right? You're looking at Earth. If this is the equator, the tilt of that orbit is really, really high. It's 64 degrees tilted off of the equator, meaning that it's going to fly over spots that stages usually don't fly over. And because we launched it in the middle of the day here, by the time it got to Europe, right? By the time it got to Europe, Eastern Europe, Europe first and then Eastern Europe, right? The sun was down, but the stage went to it went to a weird, like, egg-shaped orbit. So one part of the orbit is really close to Earth and one part of the orbit is really far away, right? So it, where it was, line of sight, the sun was shining on it, which is why they were spinning it, right? The thermal control, right? That's why they were spinning it. And that's why everybody saw it, because it was high enough to still be in line of sight from the sun. So the plume got backlit, so it made that cool spiral thing. That's what happened. Middle Europe. I don't know if it's Molina. I don't know if it's a lightning orbit, to be honest. Sea Kraken? Jonathan McDowell said that it had 1,000... hold on. What did he say? What did the orbital police say? Hold on. He said, I think he said 1,000-kilometer apogee, which is not... It's a little strange. Barbecue roll, Apollo style. Yep. Mm-hmm. What's inside of the fairing? I don't know. You got to use the first picture that the NRO posted. They posted this. The Falcon 9 1.0, is that you? So hopefully that made sense, if you guys were wondering what that spiral thing was. But yeah, that okay. Okay. Here. What else do we got? Falcon Jr. It looks like Falcon 9 1.0, guys. Here. We want here. Only the realest of the real SpaceX will remember this thing. Falcon 9 used to look like that. Look. It used to be stubby like that. Now that just looks strange. That just looks really weird now. Really late today. Anything interesting? ULA had a pretty cool video about why the nozzle exploded on Cert 2, but the square engine bay is very peculiar, Kate, for sure. Yeah. It's yeah, it's very strange. The booster is really clean. Yeah. Oh yeah, PACEX. Yeah. Oh yeah, that is another problem that they very much solved with Block 5. Yeah, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. Anybody ever notice that? It doesn't do that. You could see the logo on the rocket. Just saying. Pretty cool problem. Pretty cool problem solving there. But yeah, look. That's what it looked like once upon a time. I hate it so much. It looks so weird. Oh. No, ortho motors. Oh, don't call it that. Oh. Yeah, you could have. Yep. Ugh. Look at the weird braces, man. That's just it's cursed, dude. It's freaking cursed. I don't like it at all. The Block 5 is way more succinct than that thing. But hey, that needed to exist. Yeah, look, there's the comparison. Look at 1.1 is what Block 5 is based off of, but yeah. It looks so weird. Look at how small the second stage is. It's so tiny. Yeah, Falcon 9 flew before the shuttle program ended. I don't know how to feel about that. All right. Looks like something from your Kerbal days. All right, so this is coming from NASA, this next bit of news. James Webb treated us to a sweet perspective. Herbig Haro 4950, a towering swirl from a nearby protostar, is coincidentally topped with a multi-hued spiral galaxy. Oh, James Webb doing James Webb things. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty neat. It's a pretty nice picture. Yeah, sorry, Crash. Wait, what was that booster? What do you mean? Link, please? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll link it in YouTube as well. Yep. The space turd. It's orange. You could tell it came from James Webb because of the 6-pronged stars. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good call. That SpaceX thing you were showing with the weird bracing. That's Falcon 9 1.0, dude. That was the first version of Falcon 9. It's awful. That's what Falcon 9 looks like now. Yeah, they went to an 8-engine circular with 1 engine in the middle. It used to be a tic-tac-toe board of 9 engines, so 3x3. It was a vibe. It was a vibe. I hate it so much. Dude, I hate that thing. I hate it. Ugh. I don't like it at all. You didn't know that? Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. Another fun fact, SpaceX put parachutes on that thing. Oh, it didn't work. The parachute ripped the inner stage off. Yeah, it didn't work. And why do the circular engines work better? So, simpler plumbing. Yeah, way simpler plumbing. Yeah, like way simpler plumbing. Get it off the screen. All right. Bloody turd. Jeez, you guys are savage. Did all the engines gimbal on 1.0? I actually don't know the answer to that question. Silent, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, 1.1 is a plumbing optimization, dude. SpaceX also the switch to this style, I mean, it optimizes the plumbing, it optimizes your thrust structure, it makes your thrust structure way easier to manufacture. And also, Falcon 9 1.1 is really built around reuse. After Falcon 9 1.0's last flight, I think it flew 3 times. It flew for Demo Flight 1, COTS 1, and COTS 2. After that second flight, SpaceX was, because like I said, they tried to they tried to have the booster parachute back down, and the thing is that the booster's too heavy. You can get away with it with solid rocket boosters because when a solid rocket booster is empty, it's just an empty case. It's just empty casings. It's pretty light comparatively to this. So that's when SpaceX really decided that they're going to try to propulsively land the booster. That was in 2012. That's when they decided, no, we need a design that's going to optimize that we can put like landing legs on and grid fins and stuff. And we got to extend the first stage for the performance, for the extra performance that's needed for that. Yeah, that was the idea. Why am I hearing seagulls from your video? That's why. So, yeah, after the last 1.0, they're like, no, we gotta switch to this design because we're gonna try to propulsively land these suckers. But dude, yeah, that is such a strange. It's such a strange design, man. Freaking nacelles and stuff, dude. Long March 5. Long March 5 is weird if you really want to. If you really want to look at weird vehicle designs, Long March 5 is very strange. Admitted, it looks cool. It does not look cool. No. This Block 5 or 1.1 and subsequently Block 5 is a superior aesthetic design pretty much on all fronts. Was propulsive landing that much of a mind screw when they thought of it back then compared to how we think about catching with chopsticks? Yes. Snibbles. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, man, there were so many people. Oh gosh. Dude, I remember these conversations. This is like, that's right around when I really started streaming, right? I remember we'd have these conversations while I was launching something that basically looked like a trombone that flies into space in KSP. People would be like, no, they'll never, reusability doesn't make sense. The shuttle program proved that. Shuttle program proved that you can't reuse stuff. The hardware, the material science is just not there. It's just not there. Oh, dude, I remember the know-it-alls coming in and saying, no, they'll never reuse it. And if they do reuse it, it's going to be refurbished like the Gemini capsule. Now, to those people's credit, how did we know? How could anybody have predicted what SpaceX would become? How could anyone have predicted that? There's no way. Back then, like 12 years ago? Yeah, it seemed like a long time ago, Silent, because how people viewed the space program 12 years ago is not how people view the space program now. It's two different things, man. Yeah, like DCX, exactly. People would cite DCX too. They'd be like, no, DCX only worked because it was, it had RL10s and that's other crap, dude. Basically, there was a bunch of skeptical people. And then when they actually did land the first stage, all the people with dissenting opinions, it came to, no, they'll never propulsively land one from orbit, to, no, they'll never propulsively land one precisely on a drone ship. And then after that, it came to, no, they'll never reuse it. They'll never reuse it. That's great. It's a show. They just put on a nice show for you. And then they reused one. And they're like, oh, they'll never reuse it twice. It keeps going. The current skeptic opinion of Falcon 9 is that okay, fine, they reused it, and they have boosters that are reused 20, 30 times. Falcon 9 still isn't turning a profit. That's what all the skeptics say now. That's what people that don't like Falcon 9 say. They say that, reusability doesn't make sense, right? And it's never gonna make sense financially. The only way it'll make sense is if it launches payloads into space that you make money off of, like Starlink. Yeah, that's the logical train. There was a bunch of details that I omitted, but that's what people say, which is, I'll add that that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's, like, categorically just mentally deficient. Like, Falcon 9 is extremely profitable. Even if you didn't count Starlink missions, reusability would still work for SpaceX. You know why? Because they launch a lot. Yeah, SVO, that's where it went. Mm-hmm. They're on 30 reuses now? No. That was hyperbole on my part. No. I think the highest booster, you know what? Let's just look it up. It's somewhere in the 20s. I think 25 23, 24, somewhere around there. We can check. I 24 seems like it's low, which I don't know what to make of that, but okay. Block 5, where's the active fleet? Presumed active, launches. 1067 has flown 26 times. Oh my goodness. 1063 has flown 23 times. 1069, nice. Has flown 22 times. 1071 has also flown 23 times. 1076 has flown 21 times. 77, 19 times. 78, 18 times. 75, 17 times. Freaking hell, dude. It's gonna be weird when they get to booster 100, yeah. Yeah, not as much hyperbole as you might think, right? Jeez. Dude, bruh. Okay. All right. How would you compare the skepticism of Starship now compared to the skepticism of back in the day? Right now, people say that SpaceX is never going to get the tiles to work right. Yeah. They're not, oh, you're never going to get the tiles to work right. You never, I see people, I see people say that. Now, don't get me wrong, like, you guys don't say this in here, but I see it, like in an NSF stream. Or just on X. Like, you know, people that, you know, just these, I mean, who knew? My social media is full of spaceflight commentary. Gee, that's strange. I wonder why that's a thing. No, I see people say it, like, and most of the time they're probably just engagement farming and stuff, but, yeah, they said they're never going to get the tiles right because the shuttle didn't get the tiles right. Not understanding that toughened unifibrous reinforced oxidation resistant composite is not the same as the shuttle tiles. And the X-37B just re-entered with, how high was the apogee, guys? How high was it? I forget. It's like, it came back from like 23,000 miles up or something. 300,000 kilometers, yeah. Yeah. It came back down with tough rock tiles, and they seemed all right to me. It seems like NASA can't do heat shields right. I'm not that... Starship will work. My only concern is with HLS timelines. I think, Kate, I think that is the reason why SpaceX is pushing these boosters and why, you know, they're coming up with mitigations. Like with Flight 7 and Flight 8, they both blew up. They're coming up with mitigations on purpose because flight data is king. Flight data is king. I'm sorry, it's king. You cannot beat flight data. Even if it's a RUD like that, you're still optimizing your booster catch. Flight data's king, baby. Everything else is just an opinion. Without flight data to corroborate your analytics, you're great. Prove it. You can't prove it. You can't prove it. Don't fly. I don't want to come out as pessimistic, but what if SpaceX flops? Do you really think that's going to happen? I don't think that's going to happen. Funny, you ever been down to Starbase? You ever seen the hardware down there? I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I'll just thoughts and worries. Guys, I don't think it's gonna happen. There's no way. Funny you. There's no way. Starlink, man. Okay, think about this like this. Starlink has almost paid entirely for what we would presume Falcon 9's development is, right? We just talked about that. People move the goalposts. Like Falcon 9 never paid for itself because it can't pay for itself with the Starlink satellites. It has to be paying customers. With paying customers, it doesn't make sense. No. SpaceX knew that, and that's why they did Starlink in the first place. Because they knew the only way to get true reuse is to keep the demand up. You need to launch something a lot. So they built out a satellite constellation that generates all the money they need. Starlink is single-handedly funding Starship development at this point. Falcon 9 is done and paid for. I mean, NASA contracts, COTS contracts, paying customers have paid for Falcon 9's development on top of the revenue from Starlink. Starlink is basically funding Starship at this point. Starlink isn't failing anytime soon. That's not happening. Funny you, they'll be just fine. Starlink's amazing. It's really freaking cool. I want one. I have no need for a Starlink right now, but I still want one. I mean, what if they get some tough competition on medium lift from Neutron and others? SpaceX, funny you, that's a good, yeah, what if, all right, so what? SpaceX's revenue comes from Starlink. So what? You got 2 Starlinks, Normal and Rome. Nice, Mutter. Hell yeah. Yeah, Tron, it's true. It's exactly true. I'm not clicking on that, Erudite. Yeah, funny you, I wouldn't worry about it, dude. Starlink is making them all the money they need. SpaceX preps new Starlink dishes, including 1 gigabit, one for gigabit speeds. Dude, if they get gigabit speeds, Baron, if Starlink can get you a gigabit connection, that's why do telecommunications companies exist? Fair point. Starlink is OP. Well, funny you, like I said, back in the 2017, 2018. This is okay. So this is a huge. Well, let me put it this way. This was a huge problem until SpaceX solved this problem. Okay. Now, what is the problem? Well, the problem is that up until very recently, 2017, 2018, the demand for rocket launches really only came around, like from a commercial standpoint, like commercial rocket launches. The demand for those really only came around once every 10 to 15 years. Why is that? Because that was the shelf life of the geostationary satellite constellations that the rockets themselves launched. So with a shelf life of 10 to 15 years, you'd get very sinusoidal and unpredictable demand for launch services, right? That's why, one of the reasons why ULA exists, because the market dried up. That was partially because of the dot-com bubble bursting, right? But you get the idea. Right? SpaceX knew. So how did SpaceX make their money? Like with Falcon 9, how did they... So they got the NASA contract and started doing ISS resupply. And then Gwen, being the genius that she is, she knew that the demand for geostationary satellites was going to get very, very high in the late 20-teens. Because all the geostationary satellites over the last 10 to 15 years, last time they launched was the late 90s, right? That's when the commercial launch market collapsed. 10 to 15 years into the future, there you go. 2015 to 2019, what was SpaceX doing? Look at the majority of SpaceX missions from that time. They're all geostationary satellites. JCSat 16, JCSat 14, SES 8, SES 9, SES 10. Actually legendary missions for pioneering Falcon 9 reuse, right? They rode that wave of sinusoidal demand, right? They rode that wave and used that wave to develop reusability of the first stage. And then use that newly established first stage reusability to make their own satellite constellation. It's genius. And then the satellite constellation needing constant maintenance, being in lower orbits, right, instead of in geo, put a shelf life on Starlink satellites of 4 to 5 years. Now your reusable vehicle is justified because it needs to maintain the Starlink network. If it doesn't maintain the satellite constellation, it's not happening. Who cares? Reuse is all for naught. It makes no sense, right? What Starlink is called a Proliferated Low Earth Orbit Constellation, or PLEO, right? Shorter shelf life, more rapid demand, and less volatility in the launch market. The Space Force, well, Air Force Space and Missile Systems at the time, and what would become the Space Force ate this stuff up. They love stuff like that. They love like instantaneous launch capability because, you know, they're going to come out with, hey, we got this satellite that we need to launch. Who wants to launch it? What satellite? You were working on a satellite? Yep. Where's it going? I don't know. We need to launch it, though. So the Department of Defense ate up this stuff. They love that rapid response and being able to launch whenever, wherever, right? That basically on-demand launch capability. So that tied in with making Starlink basically sealed the deal for SpaceX for a very long time. And SpaceX is using all the profits that they got from Starlink and this defense contracts, right? And the defense contracts and the NASA contracts. They're using all of that to fund Starship. Dude, they ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. Neutron, I'm not worried about it being a competitor. Dude, okay, I'm going to be very candid here. All these other companies that are trying to make a Falcon 9 killer are actually trying to do the wrong thing. Okay, this is very much my opinion. This is an opinion piece. Just bear with me here. They're absolutely trying to do the wrong. Dude, trying to make something to compete with Falcon 9 right now is dumb. You're not going to beat SpaceX on price because they have an established base. You see all those boosters that have been reused? SpaceX is one of the cheapest ways to launch into space right now. And it's one of the highest, it's the highest capability for what you're trying to do. You're not competing with that. I see all these companies like that are like, oh, we're going to scale and we're going to try to be cheaper and more capable than Falcon 9. Good. Great. What the hell is that going to do? Unless you have a contract for a proliferated low Earth orbit constellation, you're not beating Falcon 9. I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to be a jerk. It's true. Who does, though? Rocket Lab does. At least they have Flatellite, right? They have the Flatellite. They made their own payload. See, Sir Peter Beck's pretty damn smart because he realized that. He's like, we're not going to beat SpaceX at their own game unless we make our own satellites. So Rocket Lab rolled out with Flatellite. It's not a coincidence. Same exact idea, right? These other companies that think, oh, we're going to beat Falcon 9. All right. Have fun with that. You could try. I'd love the competition. More rockets are better. But trying to use Falcon 9 as your benchmark and like that's who we're going to go after, that's what we're going to try and beat, that we're going to try to beat them at their own game, you're out of your mind. No, that's not even the right thing. The right thing would be to build, to figure out a way to build a satellite constellation that justifies you launching a lot, and then you can beat Falcon 9 on reusability. Trying to compete with Falcon 9 is crazy. That's like trying to say I can swim up Niagara Falls. Like, oh yeah, I'll swim up that waterfall. It'll be fine. No, it won't. No, it will not. You need to figure out another solution there. Right? The real move is to work on proliferated low Earth orbit constellations. Now look at all of SpaceX's, like I said, look at their near-peer competition. Rocket Lab, they're working on Flatellite. They're working on providing their own satellite constellation that they could basically sell to people. That's what Flatellite is. It is a a la carte satellite, proliferated low Earth orbit satellite system that they could sell it to anybody. Look at ULA, Blue Origin, proliferated LEO. They're working on Project Kuiper. It's not a coincidence, guys. That's the way you buck this trend. All the near-peer competition are all working on this. And the crazy thing is that they're all working on different things. Like, they're not all competing to launch Starlink, for instance. Right? All these different constellations are going to offer one benefit or a positive over another. I still think Starlink is the best one, but it could be different in the future. Yeah, there you go, Baron. Yep. I feel good about Stoke. Stoke, that's great. Stoke is awesome. That their Nova rocket is fantastic. I think that's so cool with the Archimedes engine. Not Archimedes. There's so many damn rocket engines. I don't know. What was the name of their heat shield motor? They gave it a name. I forget the name. Anyway, anybody that's going into launch services right now that doesn't have contracts for proliferated low Earth orbit stuff is really not gonna do well. Andromeda, that's the name of it. Yeah. Couldn't Starship just destroy the rest of the commercial launch market? Just bulk launch stuff for dirt cheap? Yes. But I don't think that's what Starship is going to be used for in the long run, dude. I'll give you an example. SpaceX wants Starship to be like a 747. That's their benchmark for reusability. They want it to be a 747 that flies into space. Okay? They want it to be like a passenger liner. Like, you get in, you fuel it and go. Right? Easy peasy. Full reuse, comes back down, lands, you use it again. Right? Now, that's their benchmark. So that means that Starship is going to be working on going to Mars and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, we do know that Starships are also going to be used for launching Starlink stuff, but you know what the crazy part is? SpaceX doesn't need to make it launch anything else for now. They don't even need customer payloads. To be honest with you, you can use Falcon 9 for that. Just make it launch Starlinks and have it be your means to full reuse while maintaining the Starlink network. Right? Like sorry, I lost my train of thought there. What I was trying to say is that the vehicle Hang on, I went cross-eyed. No, could Starship just basically destroy the launch market completely? Yeah, sure. But I think SpaceX has bigger fish to fry. They're going to use Starship to maintain Starlink at first, to make sure they have enough money to develop the fully reusable version, and then make money elsewhere by like sending people to Mars or going to Mars or going to the moon or wherever, right? Like, also they're working on HLS too. But the role of Starship, dude, Trey, I guess what I'm trying to say is that Starship is not a regular vehicle. It's not even a regular rocket. I wouldn't even compare it to Falcon 9. It's not the same. Starship is on its own. It's on a whole nother level. Performance exhaust or broken exhaust? I'll let you be the judge. Did you see the new Aviation Week poster? Okay. Lawson is out at Red Bull. RIP. Think of it like shipping. You can't beat the bulk rate efficiency of giant Supermax carriers, but still have smaller ships and smaller custom loads. Yeah, spoil. I don't exactly. That's a good way to say that. I don't think that it's going to capture the market. That's where I was going with it. The 747 was a revolutionary plane for the time. It's not the thing that's used all the time, right? You still need 737s and A320s and CRJ 700s, CRJ 900s, right? Embraer 190s. You still need all these other different planes for the type of market that we're talking about here. So, yeah, no, I think Starship, with what Starship is designed to do, I don't think it's going to just destroy everything else. I mean, it might. It might. Who knows? Hey, Soapbox. 38-month resub. I appreciate it. And then funny you with the 32 in there, too. A broken exhaust for better performance. Yeah. It's a very purpose-built machine. And even what they foresee its purpose right now might not be its purpose in the future, guys. There's a ton of 747s flying today. Does anybody know the majority of things that they move around? Because it's not people. Majority of 747s flying today move cargo. So, I don't think, I don't, you know, maybe it might, but I don't think it will. Shadow's like, hey, airplanes? Hey, airplanes? Hey, what's up? What's up? How did the office shop cleanup go today? Here, I'll let you be the judge. Take a look. I got a good part of this part of the shop nice and clean. Are there any 747s that fly people? I don't think so. Where's the Camaro? It's outside, covered up. Air Force One would be... that's not a commercial plane, though. Lovely work there. Thank you. Give me a couple more days of that, Urban. That place will look like a damn clean room. There are a few charter 74-8s left. Lufthansa and Korea and Air fly passengers with their 748s. Okay, good. Thank God. You want to talk about the video I sent you? I'll show it, dude. If you want. I mean... if you want to show your stuff popping, I guess. Hey guys, this gets loud real quick. Headphone users. Oh, that sucks, Urban. So, this is Cosmos. It worked for a second. It was working real good for a second, funny you. Yeah, that was working real good for a second, you know. One more time? Okay. Yeah, that, funny you was working for a second, dude. It looks like you blew the top of the thrust chamber off. Oh, that went from being like pretty good to not very good, like very fast. So the front fell off. It became the omnidirectional rocket engine, which is suboptimal. Yeah, it didn't, once again, it was working really good for a second. And it wasn't. What was your what was the casing made out of? Just change it to an RPG. Job done. Yeah, there you go. Murray, probably a really dumb question. Going back to SpaceX income being generated by Starlink, aren't these Starlink satellites vulnerable? All it would take is war with a nation who's capable of launching something into orbit, and debris from one satellite would probably destroy the rest. Yeah, maybe. Starlink satellites are in decaying orbits. They use their thrusters to constantly boost, Murray. So great. You took out, first of all, no one's taking out 3,500 satellites. That's how big the network is right now. Second of all, dude, Starlink is tricked, man. Okay, cool. You take out one or two that are flying by. You know, you have an area denial, right? And maybe that gets 10 satellites. Guess what? The satellites, they're all talking to each other. They're all talking to each other autonomously. They'll just spread out to maintain the coverage. It's like dealing with a Zerg rush of satellites. Yeah. Good luck. Oh, I think we'd notice if somebody had 3,500 missiles just sitting around ready to fire up at altitude. Shattermage whisper. Microsoft Flight Sim. $60-61 aluminum for your casing. Back to exhaust, if you would. What would cause a car to sound like someone's mag dumping every time it shifted? Anti-lag. Or a backfire. I'd have to hear what specific noise you're talking about, John. .2 millimeter max design. Chamber pressure was supposed to be 50 bar. It got to about 110. Someone put a little too much hot sauce in your propellant, huh? Yeah. Trying to shoot down Starlinks be like, how, SpongeBob? You have no idea. If I knew when the idiot was driving down the road, I'd record it for you. It's either anti-lag, John, or it's just backfiring. Backfiring means they don't know how to tune a car correctly. Because no street car should be backfiring. They do that because race car. You know, I forgot that was loud. Yeah, I forgot that was loud. I don't know why I forgot that was loud, but I definitely did. Actually, the failure mode is pretty elegant on IMO. I sent you a doc explaining it. Astra motor ignited using approximately 25 kilograms of KNSB solid propellant in a 6-inch aluminum tube. Designed to power Morpheus, a rocket competing in the IREX 30,000-foot SRAD category. The motor initially functioned as expected. However, within 0.8 seconds, chamber pressure surged past 86 bar, with estimates suggesting a peak above 110, far exceeding the 50 bar design limit. Comprehensive investigation was concluded with input from leading academics and industry professionals. Traction test and finite element analysis revealed that as the case expanded radially under pressure, it pulled on the multi-layer paper grain liner, causing the liner to delaminate, initiating a dangerous positive feedback loop. As more of the propellant's outer surface was exposed, the burn rate accelerated, further increasing chamber pressure and exposing even more burn area. Initial calculations confirmed that the bond between the propellant and the liner was strong, and that the propellant itself could withstand the expected stresses. However, a small oversight in estimating the adhesion between the individual liner layers proved critical. Once delamination began, the increasing burn area rapidly drove chamber pressure beyond structural limits, leading to case rupture. Despite this catastrophic failure, key components, including the multi-material nozzle and resilient silicone O-rings, remain largely intact, underscoring the overall quality of the design. These findings will inform critical design improvements that the team works towards a successful flight at IREC 2025. Good for you, man. Fancy words for it went boom. So, okay, guys, little bit, if that made no sense and that was just another language to people. Okay, so when a solid rocket booster goes, right, your propellant is basically in the combustion chamber already. It's not like it needs to be introduced into the combustion chamber like a liquid fuel engine, right? Liquid fuel engine would have something at the top of your thrust chamber, right? You'd have like an injector assembly that throws liquid fuel and oxidizer in there. They mix in the combustion chamber and then they explode and get shot out the back. With solid rocket propellant, you don't need that. You don't need the injector plate. You just take your combustion chamber, your thrust chamber, and make it way longer and way wider and fill it up with propellant. Now, when you first go to ignite an SRB, how the thrust that an SRB makes because of how it's because how rocket science works, how much thrust you make is very, very much dependent on the geometry and surfaces, specifically the surface area of your combustion chamber. In an SRB, solid rocket propellant is lining the walls of your combustion chamber. So as the SRB burns off, right, the surface area increases. And if your surface area increases, thrust usually increases as well. So that's called a progressive thrust curve over time. Because your combustion chamber surface area gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, your thrust is just going to go up. It's going to go up like crazy because you're increasing the combustion chamber surface area, right? What happened with Funny U's rocket here is, remember I said the SRB grain, so the solid fuel is packed up against the walls. And there's usually a liner. You don't just pack it up against the outer shell of the vehicle. There's an insulative liner in there on all SRBs, right? So there's like think like a rubber mat. It's not a rubber mat. It's a little more complicated than that. Basically, when they fired it up, the liner between the solid rocket propellant started to come apart, right? And it started cracking the SRB, the solid rocket. It started to delaminate, and it started to push, separate from the solid rocket fuel. And when you separate from the solid rocket fuel, right, now you inadvertently have increased your combustion chamber surface area. Now you're burning on the inside of the grain and the outside of the grain. Increased combustion chamber surface area, increased combustion chamber pressure. That thing probably made a crazy amount of thrust, Funny You, for a split second before the combustion chamber blew apart because it's only rated for 50 bar. $1.3 tons. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. It made a lot of go for a split second, and then it decided to not do that. Yeah. So yeah, the liner coming apart increased your surface area of your combustion chamber inadvertently. Yeah. Solid rocket, how you physically pack the grain, pack the solid rocket fuel inside of the SRB will denote your thrust chamber pressure and not thrust chamber. It will denote your combustion chamber pressure, and it will denote how much thrust, your mass flow rate, which mass flow rate, you figure out exhaust velocity from that, you can figure out how much thrust and your efficiency on top of that for what it's worth. Actually, if we go back to that ULA video, I'll show you guys something that is very applicable to this. They showed it for a split second. So check this out. They showed it when they were... I showed this at the beginning of Space News. When they were showing all the GEM-63 man... Oh. Yes. Yes, they spin rocket engines like clay. Oh, look, right there. Look at that. Anybody know what that is? That's solid rocket fuel. Look at the shape. No, it's not an Imperial logo from Star Wars. Look at the shape. You cut shapes into the grain like this. Well, you don't cut shapes. You cast shapes like this using forms, similar to pouring concrete. You do that depending on what kind of thrust curve you want. If you want the booster to basically maintain the same amount of thrust the entire time, you'd carve a weird shape like that into the grain. Is that a plumbus? Yes. Rocket Guy, what'd you say? Increasing rocket radius boosts thrust by enlarging burning surface area, reducing burn time due to faster propellant consumption. Lengthening the rocket raises total propellant mass, typically enhancing both thrust and burn time, thus increasing total impulse, assuming consistent grain geometry and burn characteristics. Yeah, see that? You can actually see the liner right there. I'm pretty sure that's some of the liner on the outside, that orange stuff. Pretty cool though, right? Yeah, talking a lot about solid rockets today, and I'm here for it. But anyway, funny you, I'm not worried. You guys seem to have a good handle on what screwed up. You'll fix that. Make the adhesion better. Easy peasy. I mean, it's not, but you get the idea. They can't lie to us. They're launching Death Star parts. Maybe. Or a stronger casing to prevent expansion. Yep. Some pressure-fed trolling we did a while back, and yes, the skeleton head survived. What are you doing? What are you doing here? What is... Headphone users, this is gonna get loud. What happened to Skeletor? Where's the Skeletor gone? Oh, yep. Yeah, I don't think he's live anymore. Skeleton. Yeah, that's So, this is why you don't stand in front of rocket engines, because this will happen. Yeah. See, he wasn't even... I don't know if you guys saw that right. Buddy wasn't even around by the time the rocket engine ignited. The overpressure event just obliterated that thing. See? Yeah. You see? When a rocket engine fires, a rocket is basically an explosion that's being just shot out the back at high speed. Like a fast fire explosion, a chemical deflagration that's being shot out the back at high speed. When a rocket engine first turns on, it's like an explosion going off, only in a direction. You can very much see the fruits of that labor right here. That is an overpressure event. Yeah, from starting. Yeah, that happens. And yeet, bye-bye. Also that boulder. Yeah. Yeah, you see that rock right there? That thing gets... A rocket engine just pointing at that thing shot it away like a cannon. Watch. Ready? It's there. Now it's not. It went that away. See? They won't stop me in my Kerbals. I'll tell them I need to quickly inspect the nozzle for no reason. Okay. Yeah. That's the amount of power that we're talking about here. That's just a little baby engine. That's just something that Baron was working on. You know, that thing did fly, but the ablative nozzle failed 35 seconds into flight. Manufacturing defect. Huh? Hey, coming full circle here. That's mining with rockets. I have ideas now. Slight engine anomaly. We've had an anomaly? Secure the area? Come on, dude. Hey, whatever, man. Dude. It's easy to say. Okay, so Baron, first and foremost, it's easy to say it when it's not my rocket. Also, you know good and well I am no stranger to having my aerospace projects quite actually explode in my face in front of people. Okay? I very much know that feeling. It is not a good feeling. It hurts a lot. I think I'd rather be kicked in the junk. Not my rocket, not my problem. With that being said, I've gotten to the point where, you know, even if I did put myself in that scenario again, I'm like, it blew up. Oh, that sucks. Oh well. I just have to laugh at it because it hurts. It hurts. And I'd like to think for somebody that's on the outside of the fence looking in, I have a pretty good idea of how much that sucks. You know, we had an observation. It sucks. It's not fun. It's not fun seeing your stuff just blow up in your face. That's not great. But anyway, not my rocket. Oh well, you figure it out. If you can't joke about it, what can you do? Blowing up a rocket engine and finding out some hidden reason is one of the coolest things ever. It's addicting, isn't it, funny you? It's addicting. Destructive testing is always fun. Yeah. Speaking of destructive testing. No, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about Starship. So, dude, Gage is still down there. Gage drove down when I went down there. He got there a day after I did. He's still down there. Gage is out there taking pictures. Check this out. Yesterday, the chopsticks on pad B went all the way to the top. Damn. Every engineer dreams of a career in destructive testing. We all like explosions. For you know, that creation. That's really what it is. Like, you know, we're all. Nobody gets into rocket science to you know, aerospace like to make money. You're like at least at the engineering level, right? Like maybe the people that were running Boeing probably did see the fruits of that labor. Not a good idea. All of us like, you know, are down here on and I'm saying this like not me included, right? But all the people that do this are, you know, the people that work in the industry that like watch this stream and stuff, right? You do this stuff because you love it. But I think secretly we're all just pyros. For as sophisticated and as, well, precise as rocket science is, no, we all just like seeing Big Boom. Ideally, we like seeing Big Boom do what we want. But sometimes Big Boom does not do what you want. But I think we all just like Big Boom. I know I do. There's something about seeing flames get shot out at extremely high pressure out of a nozzle that just, I'm just like, nice. 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 I like that. I don't like post-failure investigations, especially when you don't have anything recovered from the vehicle, just telemetry. It's such a pain. Yeah, of course. You gotta figure it out, though, dude. It's part and parcel. Sometimes big boom don't big boom the way you want big boom to happen. Also, big things move fast. Much good. Yes. 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 A rocket engine is a bomb with a leak in it. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, Gage is still out there. They moved those chopsticks up. Here, let's see what the live view is. I think they, get out of here. Yeah, they moved them back down. They don't seem to be pouring much concrete right now. I think they're, one of the telescoping cranes is moving something into the trench there, but, Quadruple expansion nozzle aerospike RDE. See, Kraken? I had this teed up just in case this conversation came up again. I went and searched for this afternoon, and I found it. Quadruple expansion nozzle RDE. Turbo machinery design 1. Which one is the XLR 129? Probably that as well. I had this teed up because I knew someone was going to bring this up again, man. Which one is Raptor? I would say heat transfer analysis, if anything. Because Raptor's like thrice film cooled. But that's because it gets a little spicy in the combustion chamber. OSHA. More marketing? You think so? Weight is less than 0. Accumulated test time, several centuries. It's free. Negative thrust, negative to positive. Required delivery time. You'll have it last week. RFA going the manufacturing route. That looks like a coffee machine. What's all that churning and bubbling? You call that a radar? Marketing is the RS-25. Yeah, maybe. Our first rocket failure was so bizarre, it was never some part of the rocket to cover. It was never expected. It was literally a coating we did on some part of the rocket to cover the avionics from overheating under the sun while it sat on the pad. During flight, friction from the atmosphere on that exact coating caused static buildup and zapped the avionics package under it. That is the dumbest failure ever. Like, not that you guys are stupid. That's, yeah, of course that would happen. Of course that would happen. Yeah. You know, of course that would happen. That's dumb. Stupid physics. The linear aerospike is definitely OSHA approved. That's crazy. Such a rocket failure. Plan A, B, C, D to happen, then E happens. Yep, you plant, yeah, yep. There you go, Bill. It never rains, but it pours. It's always something dumb. That's why I always say the weird and wonky failures that we see from time to time, it's always something stupid. It's always something stupid. Like, always. All of the failures that we used to have in mission mode that I had were the result of something dumb. Like me doing something incredibly stupid. And not remembering like one simple thing. Like, it's always that, dude. What can happen will happen. Yep. That's why you need to fly. Flight data is king, baby. The people at Dare once told me that Stratos 4 that the Stratos 4 rocket only reached half of its planned apogee, primarily due to added drag from the sponsor's stickers. Yep. 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 Mm-hmm. Pizza Hut Proton. Ugh. Absolutely nothing beats this. What is this, the RS-2200? Oh. That's so wrong. Now, by wrong, do you mean awesome? Because it's freaking awesome? I don't give a frick what anybody says. That is one of the coolest rocket engines ever made. It's really stupid that it works and then we decided to not put it on something. Great, working engine. Yep, cancel it. Yep, good call. All right, so other than that, they still are disassembling the high bay. I believe they showed that on live a little while back. Yep, they're still disassembling high bay 1. That's this shot right here is from high bay 1. The shot is from highway. They're disassembling high bay 1. Just in case I didn't say that right. Quietly whispers, bring back Venture Star. Urban, you remember what I said a second ago about designing your vehicle around a proliferated low Earth orbit constellation? And how building a vehicle right now to try and compete with Falcon 9, which is partially reusable, is probably not the wisest bet? Just saying. You think they will drop the high bay like they did the mid bay? Probably not. You think the OLM will roll pretty soon? Got to finish pouring the concrete, Kate. That's going to take some time. And then it's going to take even more time for it to cure. Anyway. So, the last article here that I have for you guys is this one here. This is an Ars article from Eric. Think though, RDE Venture Star. Stop! My rocket can only go through so high a max Q. Stop! I want it. Please do that. Yeah, I'm talking about structural analysis through induced aerodynamic compression. This article makes me worried. May is too far away. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, I am Rocket Tennyson as well. Yes. The Eric Royale with cheese burger. If I ever meet him, I'm going to accidentally call him that, and he's probably not going to find it funny. Eric, sorry, man. I just did Royale with cheese burger. Hey, it's at least I'm not saying Eric Hamburger. All right, you probably get called that a lot in high school. I'm just saying. It's probably Royale with cheese is cool, man. You know why they say Royale with cheese? They don't use the metric system, or they use the metric system. That's why they say Royale with cheese. All right. Anyway, this is so the title of this article is "Not Another Stalled Administrator." What a dick. Momentum seems to be building for Jared Isaacman to become NASA administrator. With the vast majority of the president's cabinet members now approved by the Senate, focus is turning to senior positions within the administration that are just below cabinet level. The administrator of NASA is among the most high-profile of these positions. Nearly 4 months ago, the president nominated private astronaut Jared Isaacman to become the chief of the space agency, but he has yet to receive a hearing before the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. Almost immediately after his nomination, much of the space community fell in behind Isaacman, who has flown to space twice on private Crew Dragon missions, raised charitable funds. You could say that. The guy raised $500 million for pediatric cancer research. Just saying. That's pretty good. And is generally well liked. Yeah, you could say that. Since then, Isaacman has worked to build support for his candidacy through conversations with people in the space community and office holders. However, publicly, not much has happened. This has raised questions within the space community about whether the nomination has stalled. Although some people have expressed concern about financial ties between Isaacman and SpaceX, according to multiple sources, the primary obstacle has been Ted. Oh boy, Eric chose to get spicy today. Has been Ted Cruz, the senator from Texas, who chairs the Senate committee. He's not happy that Isaacman is. Oh, I'm not reading the rest of this. Ugh, let's just skip that. Caca. Nevertheless, despite the slower pace, people familiar with the nomination process say Isaacman's candidacy remains on track, and recently there have been some public announcements that support this notion. So, little bit of a question here. Eric is saying that Ted Cruz does not like Isaacman. Why did he endorse him then? You guys remember we saw that document the other day of 6 senators that endorsed Isaacman for administrator. Ted Cruz was on that list. So, I'm going to go ahead and say that that's probably not accurate. Yeah, that I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's probably not a thing. You wouldn't endorse him and then be like, yeah, no. I too can write things. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. In early March, governors of several southern... Oh, okay. Including from a Senate letter to him expressing strong support. That's what it was. Okay, so yeah, okay, never mind. I'm wrong. A notable absence from this letter was the governor of Alabama, where NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center is located. However, she also recently sent Ted Cruz a letter praising Isaacman, calling him an exceptional selection to lead NASA. It is notable that the governors of all U.S. states with major human spaceflight activities have now lined up behind Isaacman. Okay. Initially part of the nomination process, Isaacman has written a letter to explain how he will disentangle his conflicts of interest, including resigning from the company he founded, Shift 4, and stating that agreements between himself and SpaceX for the Polaris missions will be terminated. That kind of sucks, but I think Scott Poteet will keep going with Polaris for what it's worth. A group of more than 24 former astronauts across the political spectrum also recently shared a letter sent to Cruz in support of Isaacman. We believe that Jared Isaacman is uniquely qualified to lead NASA at this critical juncture. Yeah, there's a lot of astronauts on that list. Scott Kelly's on that list. Rusty Schweickart and Apollo era astronauts on that list. Dude, I'm not even remembering the rest of them off the top of my head. There were some pretty damn high profile people on that list. Don't read the comments? Oh, that's my favorite part. Wait, surely this article about spaceflight politics is good. Surely the comment section is going to be nice and civil, and everybody will conduct themselves with respect and, understanding, right? Right? This all appears to be part of a loosely coordinated campaign to push Ted Cruz to scheduling a hearing with Isaacman. A request for comment from Cruz through the Senate committee he chairs was not responded to. So what will happen now? Undoubtedly, Isaacman's ties to Elon Musk will come up during the confirmation process, and political conflicts of interest will be the source of some contention with Democratic senators. SpaceX stands to benefit from the presidential administration in a myriad of ways, including from including from NASA. At the same time, there's general recognition when it comes to civil space that SpaceX has provided essential services to NASA at a significantly lower price than any other provider. Therefore, although there may be some grumbling about Isaacman's conflicts, they are unlikely to be a killer. Cruz, too, has signaled privately that he's willing to move forward with the nomination, but it likely won't be soon. Due to a recess in April for Easter and Passover, there are limited opportunities for a confirmation hearing. Therefore, it seems the most probable that Isaacman will not appear before Cruz's committee until May. Is that a bad thing? If you ask people at NASA in the industry, the answer is generally yes. Like other federal workers, the employees at NASA feel shell-shocked by the president's treatment of their jobs. Calls to resign, requests for massive okay, yeah, right. I don't freaking care about that part. I'm not reading that part on stream. Guys, I don't. Let's read the comments. Put your gas masks on. Oh, some of these comments are rather verbose. I don't, guys, for what it's worth, I don't think that I don't think that anyone's gonna fight Isaacman's confirmation. At least from the side of the aisle that the president is on. I really don't think so. Just because Elon's whispering in his ear, I really don't think that's gonna happen. Just personal opinion. What do I know though? I don't know. I just stream on Twitch. Honestly surprised. So here's one of the comments. Honestly surprised he even bothered to write a plan to disentangle himself from conflicts of interest. No one else in this administration seems to care about that, so I have my doubts it will be put into action. If disentangling conflicts of interest was not a priority of the administration, wouldn't that make him more likely to be confirmed? Okay. He does have the key qualification of being a millionaire, though. You spelled billionaire wrong. Okay. I don't know, Grim. I don't know. People very much say what they want to say. This is bad. These comments suck. This is awful. I don't want to keep reading this. This is terrible. These people have no idea what they're talking about. I'm not doing this. Nah, we're not doing that. I'm done with that. This comment section is bad, dude. Dude, that's like worse than a thread on X. And that's saying something, dude. The threads on X get pretty bad. Whatever that was worse. Wow. Open up a low score one, I dare you. Oh. You can sort by upvotes. Dude. Oh. This is so bad. Hey, Jack, what's going on, man? 52-month resub. For once in my life, there would be a rocket build in your state, and then ESAR Aerospace just does not provide any stream. Thanks, I hate it. Sorry, man. Even my local town's Facebook groups are toxic. Example, last post requested for help or info total. Dude, it's so bad. I don't. Anything on ours that is related to Musk, the comment section is the worst. It's pretty bad. NASA statement of nomination for Greg Autry. Greg, dude. Oh, here's some pretty good news. Hey, all right. NASA statement on nomination of Greg Autry for agency CFO. Yes! Yes! Oh, Greg's awesome, dude. All right. Yeah. I like Greg. He posts on X all the time. I really like how he looks at spaceflight, dude. Yeah, he was a big constellation advocate for a long time. Yeah. Pretty cool. He's going to be the chief financial officer. Or he's going to nominated to be. In addition to his previous experience on the agency review team and as White House liaison at NASA, he's also served on the Commercial Space Transportation Advisory Committee at the FAA and is vice president of the National Space Society. He is the associate provost for space commercialization and strategy at the University of Central Florida. All right. He also serves as a visiting professor at the Imperial College London. He formerly served as the Director of Space Leadership Policy and Business at the Thunderbird School of Global Management and a professor at Arizona State University. He's taught technology entrepreneurship at the University of Southern California and macroeconomics at the University of California, Irvine. Word. That's awesome. That's a really good choice for CFO. I like Greg a lot. Greg, he's a big constellation guy. He likes constellation. A lot of how I look at spaceflight guys is based off of a gentleman by the name of Mike Griffin. He was the NASA administrator in the late 2000s. And his idea for how our national space program needs to go about exploring space. The whole argument that I have about NASA having to have their own redundant capability to SpaceX, it stems from that. And Greg is one of those guys that agrees with that, so I see eye to eye there with him on that. That's a good idea. Having him as CFO is a great idea. That's really good. Also, that Ars article was awful to read. I hate reading Ars articles on stream. The only discipline he hasn't hit is logistics. Guy's cool, man. Greg's the real deal. I'm not reading that article, Baron. Hey, yes, what's going on? Anyway, guys, that was a good space news. Any idea when Jared's confirmation will be? If it's not in the next 2 weeks, it's probably going to be in May. Does it make any sense that if Starliner needs more flights, they would either move missions off of Atlas? If NASA paid for it, if NASA paid for them to do that, sure. Trey, what do you want me to see here? It's not rocket, but have you heard the Electra EL-9 E-Stall airplane? It can take off in 150 feet and has gone as slow as 22 miles an hour and not found the stall speed yet. No, I haven't. That's cool, though. Neat. Trey, do you really think, in light of what we just saw, do you think that this is a good idea? Sharing this article on Space News? Oh, it's blocked anyway. Haha. Sweet. I don't have to read this now. Great. Allow ads on Fox News. No, I don't think I will. All right, cool, sweet, great, ran, wonderful. Not the article, the quote. Okay, what do you want me to read here? This is an excerpt from the article. Up next on the docket to continue implementing the president's ambitious space agenda that he has touted in his inaugural addresses to confirm his nominee for NASA Administrator, Jared Isaacman. More signs signaling a push for his confirmation sooner rather than later. Furthermore, we were going to go to the moon and we were going to go to the moon and to Mars and beyond, and that we have less than 4 years at this point to get through that considerably ambitious agenda. We need to implement leadership here at NASA in order to get the ball rolling there. So I think that's the next step towards America First in space. Bethany Stevens said that, who is NASA's press secretary. I have no problems if anyone wants to confirm Rook sooner rather than later. That would be good. You probably should do that. It's almost like this spaceflight stuff takes time or something. Weird, right? Somebody gifted Survey Slave a tier 1 sub. You can go ahead and just post, ATL. Has the Crew 11 astronauts been announced, or 12? Nope, nothing yet, Outdoorsman. What am I looking at here? Collector secures 2,200 pre-orders for its groundbreaking I'm having a stronk. Groundbreaking ultra-short aircraft. Okay. The EL-9 harnesses the power of blown lift and hybrid electric propulsion to take off and land in 150 feet, unlocking an era of aviation without airports. We don't know who the Artemis 3 crew is. Trey hasn't been assigned. Integrates blown lift and hybrid electric propulsion to take off and land. Interesting. "55 decibels. The 9-passenger EL-9 delivers up to 3,000 pounds of payload capacity at a range of up to 1,100 nautical miles. 1,100 nautical miles with in-flight battery recharging that eliminates the need for ground charging infrastructure. They're electric motors, spoiled. It's regional. I know. That's pretty ambitious even for an electric plane, dude. Huh. It's hybrid electric. All right. So it's an APU. It's an APU hooked up to electric engines. Am I understanding this correctly? Hybrid, like a Tesla towing a Generac. That's pretty good, Trey, for a regional transport. I mean... I highlighted that because that's crazy for an electric plane, but it's hybrid electric, which is pretty cool. This is neat, ATL. This is cool. Hybrid electric propulsion enabled us to achieve what jet fuel alone can't do. We've created a fixed-wing airplane that delivers the access of a helicopter with 100 times less noise. The response from the global aviation industry has been tremendous. Okay, how does it work? I don't want a damn press release. How does this thing work? Okay. It's an APU. Yeah. So this thing has an APU in the back and 8 electric motors. An electrified blown flap. Yeah, pretty much. An electric turboprop. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a good idea. I'm okay with this. This is actually pretty smart. Because, like, here's the thing, guys. The point where a plane uses the most energy, like uses the most amount of fuel, is takeoff. Takeoff and getting to altitude. Once you're up at 30,000 feet, now not that this plane could do this, once you're up at 30,000 feet, you don't need that much energy to keep it flying because there's not as much air in the way. The pressure's lower. All you got to do is just, you don't need a lot of power to keep it going. Right? To stay flying for a long period of time. And then coming back down, you're just dumping kinetic energy. Right? This thing you don't have to do that. With this thing you can harvest all that energy back, which is actually pretty cool. It's pretty smart. If I was going to do a hybrid electric vehicle like this is how I would do it. Yeah, I would do it the exact same way. Did you see the flight test of the Jet Zero blended wing? No. Do you think this design could be scaled much larger for, say, commercial airlines? The batteries would be the big thing, dude. Because even in this design, you still have to pull fuel. You still need a big fuel tank. Still got to have fuel. The APU has to be powered by something. Like the hybrid electric logging trucks that Edison is starting to make. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think this would scale very well. You're not... I mean, it would be cool to see like a 777 with G90 electric ducted fans, but nah, that's not happening anytime soon. It would be cool, though. Not out of the realm of possibility. It's the batteries, guys. Batteries are heavy. Planes generally don't like things that are heavy. Integral things that are heavy. They can move heavy cargo around, but yeah. That's a cool idea. This is pretty neat. I think that's pretty cool. That's really smart. For a small aircraft, that's smart. I'm waiting for someone to do this with a helicopter. Seriously. Have a turbo shaft on a helicopter. A turbo shaft on a helicopter, just instead of a direct drive from your turbo shaft to the rotor assembly, you just have a turbo shaft that's generating tons of power, and then you have a couple of electric motors. Basically, think like a 4-blade drone with an APU attached to it. And fuel tanks. And you could make like flying car. Like you could do that whole flying car thing. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, if I was going to do that, I would not have a big battery pack on it. I would just have the APU directly generate power going right to the motors. Yeah, I wouldn't have a big battery pack on it, which would suck because, once again, like without a big battery pack on there, you're not fully utilizing the benefits of electricity, right? But yeah. Have you seen the Jetson 1? Yes, yeah, that, Nader, but I'm talking like Black Hawk sized. Similar to Whisk Arrow? Yeah, basically that. Look at these people with their luggage and this family having fun. Look at these people. Look how happy they are. Fasten your seatbelt. Look at with this, you can conduct business and be happy. You could have a stand-up meeting in your Whisk. What the It's safe enough for children. That kid doesn't look scared at all. Is it business time? Yeah, and you could be dang sure that people that fly around in these things know how to handle themselves. That thing has 8 rotors in it. What? Or, no, 12. That, VTOL with a hybrid engine. Yeah, outdoorsman. Yeah. The front... Oh! And the front rotors pivot. You sure you want to do that? You sure you want to do that? You sure you want to design that way? You sure about that? Are you sure about that? You sure about that? Why would you make that like that? Why would you do that way? Why? I don't understand. Why would you make this way? That's not it. Boeing owns them, by the way. Ah. Didn't we say the same thing about the chopsticks? No. Oh. That's not, this is not the same. You dingleberry. Kappa. It's not even funny as a joke. I saw the Kappa, dang it. I even read it. What the absolute... Alright, anyway. Okay. That was a good solid 3.5 hours of space news. That was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys tomorrow for more space news. Once again, I'm taking this week to organize the garage so we can actually use the garage for streaming purposes. Okay? That we need the garage for purposes. You know? For streaming purposes. It's in porpoise. I mean portend. I will Middle Ditch? Yeah, we can raid him. I will see you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. for the next Space News, and I will give you an update tomorrow. I'll give you an update tomorrow on the garage again. Time to build some shelves on stream, boy. Let's go raid Middle Ditch. He's playing the 7th guest in VR. Oh boy, he's not gonna see the raid because he's in VR. That's okay. Go raid Middle Ditch, guys. He's a good dude, great streamer, good buddy of mine. Go see what he's up to. On the YouTube side of things, don't worry, this means nothing. Not covering all the launches. Oh, what times are the launches tomorrow? That's right, we have launches for days tomorrow, don't we? Let's take a look real quick. We have Electron at 11:30. I will be here for that, sure. And it looks like I don't care about that thing. Long March. It's not a Long March 5. Now Long March 5. Now watch this drive. Then we have a Starlink during Space News. Excellent. Yeah, I will be here for both of these. Sure. Absolutely. Third Electron this month. Dude, I'm here for this Electron scaling. This is great. Ooh, I guess we're streaming tomorrow. Anyway, go see what Middle Ditch is up to, guys. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. Once again, sorry for not streaming as much this week. We'll be back next week with Force. And there'll be some good stuff. We should be able to get some wrenching in. So, have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.